This version of It's Erik Nagel has been modified from its original broadcast. Content has been edited to fit this platform.
Believe none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Are you ready? I said, are you ready?
It's Erik Nagel. And it starts now.
Ladies and gentlemen of the universe, the next voice you hear, it's Erik Nagel.
Thank you, Scott Shannon. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the program. I am Erik Nagel, and joining me over in the other room laughing is Jordan.
Hi, guys.
We're a little bit late for going live, and that's because we were already doing the show and not realizing the software switched its settings and went to record, not to live broadcast. So
you missed a lot of good bits.
There was a portion of the show that will just never be seen or heard from in a recording somewhere that was happening, and we had to stop and sat there and went, we got to restart this stupid bullshit all over again. But here we are, and alas, thank you for being here. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, do us a kindness, go over there and put our show in the #1 preset. It means something to somebody over there, and apparently it's important. So do us that kindness. If you're not on that app and you're on Apple, Spotify, any of those places, that is also fine. Do us a kindness over there. Leave us a positive review. It helps us out in a big way, more than you realize. And if you want to join us live each and every week as we do this show, you can head over to Twitch and to YouTube and hit the follow, like, notifications, all of that stuff. It's free on YouTube and Twitch. Twitch, and it will let you know when we go live. And if you can't be bothered with any of that and you want to watch the show when you're damn well good and ready, that is okay too. The YouTube channel has all the produced videos, clips, everything is there for your consuming pleasure. So please go and enjoy all of that stuff. Okay, we are live. I'm sure we're live. It looks like everything's live. I'm not doing this a third time. If this is not working out, fuck it, no show. That's what's happening. The intro cut out, computer reset issues. It's only when we go live.
It's only on Thursdays.
Only on Thursdays.
Yeah, everything worked fine yesterday. We had a long, nice chat. Rob put in his time with us. Now he's good for a month.
Yeah. So, Trashitarian, one of the regulars in the chat. Hello, how are you? A secret show. Put it behind a paywall. Well, we got to get that paywall set up.
Right.
I've been working on that. It takes a long time to convert all those old Sirius episodes into video and get them up there and labeled and thumbnailed and all that stuff. And I'm doing it when I can. So I don't want to just start up a paywall where it's like, we got a little bit up there. Not really worth them subscribing at that point. We want to give them a little bit more so they can do that. And then maybe when we have these flubs, when the software decides to go Skynet on us and become self-aware and said, you know what, this show is just not going to broadcast because I deem it so, we can take those recordings, put all those fuck ups, mess ups, all that fun stuff up there for people to pay for and watch for no reason at all.
Right.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I just told you how I'm doing. It's all on you now. Putting the camera on you.
Really
you tell us how you are.
No, I'm good. It's just been a normal week doing dad stuff, doing volleyball stuff. Coming off the concert I went to last week, which was really fun. Last Friday after the show, I went to
concerts.
Concerts are great. I went to go. It's like a smaller venue down in Tucson, so it was nice. It was a little more intimate. It was hot because, everyone's packed into these little tiny rooms, but it was actually really fun. I saw a band, I think based out of Tucson, called Early Black. Didn't really care. I mean, good for them, but that's not what I was there for. And then saw Jimmy Eat World, which they put on a great, pretty great show. It was nice. They hit the hits. They did a lot of stuff that I wouldn't say like I'm like
What's the other song besides The Middle that's a hit?
Sweetness, Bleed
right.
American. I mean, those are all the one album, but there's, Clarity, there's Lucky Devon Mint. There's a good amount. So it was like, nice to see things, played live. But yeah, it was really fun. Went with a friend of mine from work and another friend of mine, Casey, from work.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that was fun. And we went to...
I like the cut of her jib.
Casey in the chat?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's very, very interactive.
That she brings to the program.
A lot of sass, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Our Tucson correspondent, as it
was
were.
this like one of those work exercises.
Yeah, it's a team building experience. Yeah,
but that's what I was thinking of. Yeah,
no trust falls, none of that stuff. It was wanted to go down. I wanted to go see Jimmy Eat World. A couple people from work wanted to also go, so we coordinated and went. A friend of ours brought another friend of theirs that we had met that night. Then they brought
already too many people.
It was a lot of people.
It's bad enough you went. Now there's just too many people to coordinate and organize with. This is going to be a disaster.
Keep track of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We all had name tags. It was great. And but the show was great. We went to dinner beforehand at a place down in Tucson that did pizza, like wood-fired pizza. And so Casey and I decided, I couldn't decide on what pizza I wanted. She couldn't decide on what pizza she wanted. So
riveting. Yeah,
no, she got one. I got one. Mine sucked. Like it was like I think like a peppers and like sausage on it. But the pizza that they made was so flimsy. It couldn't handle the weight. So like you pick it up.
Did they do like that pub thin kind of pizza?
Yeah, it was very thin, like wood fired,
I don't know why everyone loves that. I like a regular New York style pizza. It's not too thick like a stuffed crust or Sicilian or something along those lines, like a Pizza Uno Chicago style pizza. Just get a regular slice. That's super thin, burns really easy, but apparently you had the reverse. It's super thin and it didn't cook enough. Yeah,
it was thin enough where it was quick cook kind of thing. The crusts were a little burnt, which is fine. That's what you get with those kinds of things. The toppings tasted fine. The problem with it was it just couldn't handle the weight of the actual toppings. It was too flimsy underneath. And so, my pizza wasn't the best. The pizza she got was great, though. Like, it had, like, the little tiny cup pepperonis, the ones that, like, fold up and hold all the grease. And then they had, like, some peppers on it. And that was light enough where the pizza slice was good. So, like, it was, like, 50-50 on whether or not I actually enjoyed this place.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of sucked because I'm used to, getting pizza for the kids. So I'm getting garbage pizza like, Little Caesars or whatever else cheap pizzas around here to feed them. So it was nice to, like, get out and try something new. I was just kind of disappointed in what I got, but
Jordan eats garbage. Jimmy eats world. The chat wants to know. Well, did Jimmy eat the world? You're leaving everybody in suspense here.
He did not. In fact, it was probably a more talked about show than they played Coachella first weekend and second weekend, and we kind of were right in the middle, and you wouldn't have known because no one's talking about Coachella.
Nobody talked about Coachella. You got a little bit of a mini panic with the media because they're saying the parking was not ideal.
That was like the first weekend, though. Like no one said one thing about the second weekend.
Right. But I'm saying that's where this whole thing started. Everybody was like, the parking's not ideal. It's not going to sustain all the people that are coming in. What are we supposed to do? And then the concert started for that first weekend. You heard nothing other than I guess Lady Gaga played some song that everybody apparently liked, and that Charlie XCX, the British pop star, made a comment about she should have been headlining instead of Green Day, and that was active online for maybe 10 minutes. And
I was gonna say that was the only real major controversy.
There was nothing else. Minutes. Second weekend comes around. Nothing. I don't know who headlined. I haven't seen clips on the previous years of social media. You'd see clips all over social media. Previous year at Coachella, you'd see stuff all over social media. You'd see stuff showing up in the YouTube algorithm because they're pushing it. Nothing.
Well, at one point they were streaming it. Last year, I think, was the big Blink 182s coming back.
Yeah, I watched it.
And they streamed it. And this time around, like I forgot that it was happening. Like that's
Nobody
how low key this was.
The big story that came out at the end of the 2-week Coachella ordeal was the realization that the majority of the people, I think they said about 80% of the ticket sales for Coachella were financed.
Yeah.
If you don't know what that means, I'll put it in this terms. If you're on Amazon, right, and you go to buy something, they have those little options right there. I think Walmart does it too, maybe even Target, where it's like you could buy this at this price, or you could pay 4 to 6 payments of whatever here using this service, right? Mm-hmm. Payment plan, digital layaway from way back in the day, right? These ticket prices are so insane, but everyone had to be there. Like they all have to go because celebrities go. The beautiful people need to be there. People need to do it as influencers for social media presence. All of that shit. These tickets are, between $1,000 to $2,000 for a weekend, and that's not including parking. And then $100 for Fiji bottled water and all this other shit. People are not able to afford an apartment. Not forget a house. They're not even trying to buy a house, a car, an apartment, all of these things. Everyone complains about the grocery prices and gas prices, all these other legit things that might be a financial issue to most people. They don't give a shit about that. They're financing Coachella tickets, and they're digging back into other stuff in the previous year, and they're seeing not to the highest percentage that Coachella has it right now, but it's on the radar for the media to look for these numbers. Other concerts, other festivals, other big name acts that are just out on tour, they're seeing the percentage rise of people doing the financing just so they can go to concerts. So you're spending whatever amount of money to go to Coachella, and then you have to do it in four payment plans. And that's not like, you can make those plans throughout the year, or like a credit card payment where you could. I mean, that's not the way to do it, but you can pay the minimum and then you're just living in debt forever. You have to make this set payment with the fees and everything 4 times, I think within a 6-month window to do all of that. So that just only gives you a little bit more breathing room, but still fucks you in the long run with all of this stuff.
You actually know someone who's actually done this.
Who?
Me.
Wait, which one?
When we were young. Those tickets are like $300 and $400, and I wasn't in a spot to drop that kind of money right away. So you finance those things, and you're right. It's over like a 6-month period. I think I bought them like in September or October. It was like after When We Were Young ended the first time, and then it's like the tickets are done, and then you pay through like February or March.
Right.
So yeah, it's just like a monthly bill. And I'm not going to do it all the time, but that was something that people do now.
Trashitarian saying finance because they, in quotes, want you in debt so you're too broke to fight the government. I could agree with that, but financing is banking, and banking seems to be a separate, bigger problem than government. So I think it's more the banks doing it, but everyone's in cahoots nowadays. Who knows?
Now, I don't.
He's not wrong, but it's just, is it specifically the government, or are there other things at play with all of that?
George Soros. No, I don't.
I think I'm going to lead into conspiracy theories going forward because I've got nothing else to do, so might as well.
Well, then we'll talk about the Pope and everything else soon.
Well, the other one. Remind me about the Joe Biden photo. I forgot to put that.
That's right.
In the folder.
Yeah, like I don't agree with doing that too often. There are certain situations where it's like just you want to get in on it and stuff like that. I don't believe in doing that for things like Coachella because it's become such just a weird celebrity thing to where it's like not even real people go to this.
A lot of rich people from the Miami area, definitely LA, Beverly Hills, all parts of California, all going down there.
Well, yeah, because Coachella is just right outside of Palm Springs. So like it is a destination thing for people. So they'll go out and they'll spend a week at Palm Springs and do all this stuff. And then they'll go to these concerts. And it's just, it's kind of ridiculous what it's become. I don't plan on doing any major, like big events like that to require something like that. But yeah, I did it for When We Were Young, I think like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, something like that. So it's definitely something that's on the radar. I don't like to use that often for anything because it's just like you said, it's like layaway. It's like, you're just putting yourself in debt and paying small chunks. Let me see here. Preston said, didn't I see a story about DoorDash doing financing soon? Yes, they're going to be partnering with a company called Klarna. It's one of those pay every 2 week type of thing.
That's where I'll agree with Trashitarian saying that's where they want you to remain in debt, because we talked about that
a while ago. Finance food.
I think it was the time we read that article about Gen Z really loves self-checkout because they all admit to shoplifting, and that's why the stores had to switch a lot of it back to paid cashiers checking you out instead of the self-checkout. But we started to see that a lot of the one of the big reasons that a lot of Gen Z people, maybe some millennial people, didn't have a lot of money for things is because they were constantly door dashing or what's the other one? Uber Eats,
Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub.
Those
are like the three big ones.
Yeah, those things. But they're getting like shit. Like they're getting Taco Bell in the middle of the night. They're getting shit from 7-Eleven.
Yeah,
was a big
7-Eleven's
thing that was on one of those articles showing the statistics. People were ordering stuff from 7-Eleven and then paying the ridiculous fees just so that it'll be delivered, so they didn't have to drive down like 2 minutes to their local 7-Eleven to get a big bite. I know they're doing pizza now, I think.
I've definitely had those moments where I sit there and go, I just don't want to leave the house. I'm going to order it. And then when I look at what they're going to charge me, me and the kids, I'm sitting there going, no, I can't do this. And I'll go in there and I literally, the same meal in store saves me like $25-$30. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why are we doing these kinds of things to ourselves? And it's just, it comes down to laziness. Like it just becomes laziness, like, I just don't want to leave.
Even with the laziness, like there's some times where I've tried to carry back that government banks, it's all the same. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When like if I'm coming back from the city late or something, usually I'll cook my own stuff. But if sometimes you just in them, it's I don't want to go through the whole rigmarole. Sorry for the language of going through the cooking. I said I'll just order something, and the rare times that I'll do it is because Taco Bell seems to be the only thing that's open late anymore. I live in the land of diners.
I know.
And all the diners either close down or they close at 8 or 9 o'clock. There's no 24-hour diners anymore.
Like the amount of lamenting over this exact thing every time we talk when we're not doing the show is actually kind of funny because you bring it up a lot. You're like, the diners just don't open anymore. You can't just go out and get.
Sometimes in the middle of the night, where if you hadn't eaten or whatever, you're like, I could really go for some disco fries, or I could get my usual turkey club. Sometimes mozzarella sticks. Depending what you're looking for, and you just can't do that anymore.
Now, like these services are good for things like say you have a kid, you can't get up, can't leave the house. Bring something to me, sure. But for me, just to be lazy, I mean, my kids can stay home for 10 minutes while I run to the local place and grab food. There's no reason for me to do that. It's just, it comes down to laziness.
Yeah.
And it ends up costing you. Like it's expensive. Like you look at the menu in like you say my local taco shop versus what's online, they're charging at least $3 each per item more.
Right.
And then you got the service fees, maybe a delivery fee, and then tax, and then you got a tip.
Right.
Because then you're not going to be that scumbag. And then next thing you know, you've spent $25 extra just to have the service.
Yeah. So back to the financing things and debt stuff. So the fact that the younger people just think nothing of ordering Chipotle and all these other places that don't offer delivery, but using the services that do offer delivery. McDonald's, Dunkin' Donuts, all those places now have delivery because they partner with one of these programs, and you're paying as much for the food as you are for the services and the tip and everything else. And we've all seen those videos where people aren't tipping for those delivery services, and the people drink half their soda, throw the food on the ground or whatever, or kick the door in screaming, "You didn't tip me." The fun stuff that you scroll through on TikTok and Instagram late at night. But the fact that people are doing that for Coachella tickets, really, there's certain things you have to finance in life, unless you're extremely fortunate in that you don't have to. But I would say, like, your house, your mortgage is your financing, a car, unless you buy used or have the money to pay it flat out or something like that. More times than not, you've got a lease and you're financing. You got a lease or you're financing the car to own. Right. I think jewelry too. If you're getting wedding ring, engagement ring, some kind of anniversary or special occasion thing, jewelry is pretty expensive. I think that's another thing that a lot of people would finance. But past that point, college too, like college education stuff. I know you do stuff like that, but you can see the gravitas of those things that you need to do that with. Concert tickets, Chiquitos or whatever they're called at 7-Eleven is not worth going into debt over to finance for food and food delivery and Ticketmaster fees.
I mean, If you don't
By the way,
vacation often,
media in the chat, podcast media in the chat. Hello.
Podcast media.
Hi, guys.
like if you don't vacation often, like say you can't pay for a cruise up front, you might finance that, put that on a credit card, things like that. Some people treat these big concert events as their vacation.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that, but yeah, I mean, even then, it just feels like that is a frivolous thing to have to go into debt for.
Vacation, because I'm sure we could look into it. Disney's super expensive, and Universal's
they've
almost at
me
Disney
out.
levels now. With opening the Epic Universe,
Epic Universe over on the
right?
East Coast, yeah.
And you're going into say what you want about spring and summer, but the big time for these theme parks is September through December, because you're
Christmas
going
holidays.
for at least for Disney, you're going for the Food and Wine Festival with Epcot. Which ties into the Mickey Halloween thing that they're doing. Over at Universal, they've got Halloween Horror Nights, which is a major draw to the park every year. They also set up for Christmas stuff right after Thanksgiving. So, Disney and Universal have those things going. Those 4 months are the big money makers for those parks there. And you're financing that. And you can't, it's like saving up for a Disney vacation now. It's going to be at least 5 figures.
It's
if you're
not
going
cheap.
with a family of 4, family of 3, even that kind of stuff, that's expensive. So that's adding to the list of some things that people need to finance. I don't know if you need to finance a vacation to a concert.
Yeah, no, see that's
like
that
financing
becomes
going to Comic-Con. That's my vacation this year. Well, pick bigger goals or save more money. Don't go finance the Comic-Con.
I mean,
by the way, we'll be at New York Comic-Con this year. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I figure to each their own, but Coachella is one of those things where I just don't feel like that's worth it, because I've been to these festivals and I just feel like you're not going to get out of it what you think you're going to get out of it. Like if I finance a Disney trip, at least I know what I'm getting into when I go to Disney. You know what I mean? Like it is a pretty standard, thing. But you are going to Coachella to see all these bands. You're not going to be comfortable. You're going to be miserable out there. You're probably not going to see who you want to see because of how crowded it is. You're going to be hungry constantly. It's a miserable time to finance. Like it really is. I wouldn't do it again. Like any of those big concerts. Like there's just no reason for it.
I don't know how to say this guy's name because it's all consonants, but NTRSKT. How would you say that?
Skirt
in the chat. I never DoorDash a thing in my life, and I plan to keep it that way. Yeah, I remember when those services became available. I tried them.
I tried to avoid it for a long time,
but this was like almost a decade ago. These things started, and I was like, oh, there's a couple of restaurants a few towns away that I enjoyed. They have a delivery thing through whatever service it was. I was like, oh, that's great. Takes a little longer, but that's fine. I don't have to drive all the way out there and get it. It's not like driving 5 minutes into your town to order Taco Bell. It's a few towns away, which would probably take you half an hour there and a half an hour back.
Right. So now you're like debating, is it worth your time?
The services, the fees, and everything were almost exactly the same for the meal. And I was like, I just paid a little over double for this meal.
It's the Ticketmaster of food services, where it's like, oh, I can buy this meal for $20, but then when you add the service fees, it's another $20.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, is it worth it? It's like, no.
Stop financing things if you really don't have to. Let's see. Oh, there's 2 ways to go. All right, I'll do the conspiracy theory quick, and then we'll tie into other financing.
Do you have
issues.
that picture up there? Oh,
I do. I have it right here.
Okay.
Quick conspiracy theory. This was posted on Easter, and at first I'm like, I think this is a conspiracy theory I would buy into because it seems plausible. But then upon second viewing, when I was talking with you, I noticed something in there that kind of debunks it. But then also it's like, but it still looks wrong.
It definitely feels weird looking.
It does. So former President Joe Biden posted a photo with him and his family, extended family, sitting on a staircase in front of, I guess, one of their residences for Easter, a family photo, right? Look at this photo. Okay. Everybody there,
God, it still does look weird.
right? Family, kids. I don't know any of their names, but you know, from all different ages. There's an infant there, all the way up to Joe Biden's age, and you see everybody. They're on the stairs. It all looks, you know, wholesome family moment. Look at the way I can't zoom in here, but look at the way Joe Biden is up there. It looks like he's photoshopped into this.
It does feel like this was like some kind of like he was walking along type photo. It's like when they photoshopped George Costanza, like George Costanza was in that beach photo with in that episode where he's kind of in the background. It just looks like it's superimposed in there because everyone's like kind of dressed up casual, like business casually, you know, collared shirts
for the holidays. Yeah.
But
Those
he's
shirts,
like full suit, like he was like doing a press
with a whale
conference.
on it.
Sure.
I forgot what something vineyards, right?
Or yeah, like something. Yeah, you're right. I think Wilmot or I don't know something.
Yeah,
vineyard.
everyone wears those whale shirts now instead of the polo
Lacoste,
shirts. Yeah. No,
and then
Lacoste was always terrible, even in the.
Well, I'm just saying, like that would have been
popular.
like the little alligator shirt would be the equivalent. But yeah, it
Same
definitely
shirt's
looks
just
like
changing, you know, animals and
different
animals.
animals.
On it. Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely. It does look like he wasn't there.
It looks like they left a gap open because he couldn't make it there, or you know, wherever he was, and they photoshopped him in. Now, it's hard to see here because I should have done a different version where it's cropped. There's a hand on this. If we're looking at the photo, to his left, our right, whoever that relative is right there, there's a hand coming out of his neck. And you're looking at it and you go, oh, okay, this must be legitimate then. But looking at the placement, is he sitting on, it doesn't even look like he's on the stairs. Is he sitting like Indian style on the porch while everyone else is on the steps?
Now,
and he has to awkwardly lean over?
I could say maybe it's like a forced perspective thing where because of the angle that they're taking the photo, but it still just feels very weird. I just noticed that one of them is holding a cat. Back row, middle, girl. There's a cat. I don't know why there's a cat. You're blocking one dude's face. This guy in the front is way too tall to be in the front row. And Joe Biden looks photoshopped. Like, this is such a weird photo.
Yeah, it's just the proportions are all wrong.
Like, he almost looks small. Like, was he standing further back? And it's just, again, a forced perspective thing where, like, he's closer to the door than they are.
Yeah. He's either sitting awkwardly and look, he's ancient as hell. So he should be crouched down and sitting that way to begin with, on the porch there in front of the doors. So if that's the case, then okay, fine. But it's just the perspective of it makes it look wrong. I think I just cropped it and zoomed it in. Let me see if I can bring it up here.
I was just about to do that myself.
To look at. I'm going to remove your thing for a second off of here.
That's fine.
Actually,
I'd have to do it.
Please do, so I can bring the photo in.
On it. God.
All right. Here we go.
Yeah, because I'm zoomed in now too, and yeah, there's like 3 fingers behind dude's head.
Yeah, so here we go. Whoever this guy is on our right, his left. There's fingers. He's like doing the hover hand for this guy. I guess because it's not a small girl, so he can sniff her hair. He has the hand hovering over here because he doesn't want to be inappropriate with this guy. But the way it doesn't look right.
It looks very.
He's not a man that looks like he could kneel okay.
I would have loved it better if it was like the Yeti photo, like the Bigfoot photo where it's blurry and he's just kind of walking in the background. So he's kind of lumbering. But yeah, like it's just.
Look at this photo.
It's so weird.
All right. Everyone else looks perfectly fine. He looks out of place when you don't even zoom in. He looks like he's photoshopped into it. But when you do zoom in and look at it there, all right, is that his hand? Was this somebody else that they wiped out and put him in there?
Well, and the thing is, like, based off of where the fingers are on the guy's neck, I'm trying to, like, are his arms long? Like, how is he bent? Because it looks like that arm is straight like down, but, like, it's angled.
Yeah, like he's like this.
I don't know. That's so weird.
Big Red Tower saying part of his shoulder and collar are missing.
It could be a weird angle where he's kind of tilted back, so you're not getting that. But yeah, I could see where you think that.
Yeah, it doesn't make
It definitely looks weird. Like if I saw a reflection behind him, then I would say, okay, he was there. But it just looks like he's photoshopped in.
Pat Mortz is saying the shirt's called Vineyard Vines.
Correct.
Yes, the little whale thing that all yuppies and rich people are wearing. Oh, the guy's name, he said, sorry, Intersect. This is how I chose the worst name ever. I know. Okay. Intersect. Thank you. So Intersect said, why would they put the tallest person in the front?
Right. Like that guy looks like he's 7 feet tall. And it's just nothing. Like it sucks. They're trying to have a nice family photo, and it looks like the worst thing ever.
Yeah, and it
just so awkward.
It's
like they caught Joe out of like he was confused. He was walking by, and then they took the photo, and he's like, "Oh, hey."
Jared's saying, I think he was reaching to steady himself. That could be. He could be toppling over. Maybe he is kneeling.
It was in mid-fall
on the top of the porch. Everyone's on stairs, like a reasonable sitting position. It's like he joined the photo late then, and he had to kneel down. And he couldn't get himself back up. They had to rock him and pull him back up.
He's still there.
Is that hover hand there? Maybe he was leaning. He might have fallen over. I don't know. There's just too many things that are questionable with this photo. And the problem overall is that this shouldn't be some sort of conspiracy thing.
No.
It's just a wholesome family moment. It looks like they were putting online. But because it's him, it leads into, it's like, why does this photo look incorrect?
It does feel very odd.
Well, anyway, that's the conspiracy theory that I think I'm going to buy into, that he was photoshopped in there. There's evidence for it and against it, and none of it is proving either way. So I'm just going to lean that, this is a photoshopped conspiracy for the Biden family for some reason. All right. I wanted to talk to you about financing issues and paying for things. Since we talked about Coachella, I want to talk about my issue I had with AMC movie theaters.
Oh,
this is a different type of issue I'm having with a movie theater. Not that I couldn't get to the theater, not there was a problem with the ticket. The projector burnt up. I've had that story happen when I went to see Quentin's Hollywood movie. What was it called? Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah, the projector burnt up during the scene where Leonardo DiCaprio was making margaritas in his house.
You literally missed like the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, the hippies were coming up the street in that Volkswagen van, I guess.
Yeah.
And I never, to this day, I still haven't gone back to watch the end of the movie.
Are you serious?
I know funny. I need to. Apparently there's a massive fight scene, but I haven't seen the rest of it.
Ugh.
But anyway, point being, there's always a problem.
There's always
been well documented, and I'm putting together a supercut of all the movie stuff, all the restaurant issues. That'll be up at some point in time. Issue I had this time was next Friday, the latest Marvel installment is coming out, Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, this seems to be one of the few things I'll go to the movie theaters for. I just don't go anymore. It's not worth it to me, and I don't enjoy sitting in the theater anymore. So I go to pre-order my tickets the other day, and I'm going through the options on there, and look, it's fucking expensive. The tickets were almost $20. If not right at $20 for one adult ticket. Ridiculous. And then, if you get it, I usually just always get the concession for, not the concession, the Coca-Cola Freestyle concession, I guess. But I'd get the soda. So I would order the soda and the ticket ahead of time. So this way, when I walk in, ticket's scanned and my soda's sitting right there. I go to the machine, get what I want, right back into the theater. So go and put everything together, and I noticed the prices are all out of whack. I did notice there was a bit of a discount because I'm going to an early showing. I'm going 12:30, something like that. So
they usually before 6, they'll give you the discount.
They take 20% off, and even with 20% off, it's just south of $18 for the ticket. Now, I look at this there. Look at the fees and everything that they're charging you for this, right? Oh, I got to take the banner off the bottom there so you can see it all. The ticket, $17.79. Convenience fee, $2.69. They run commercials before the movie, sign up for their Premiere program. Was their Stubs program.
Stubs is AMC.
There's the basic level. There's the Premiere level. There's the A-list level, right? And I've had the Premiere level forever because I don't need the A-list where you can get, they give you 3 free movie showings a month or a week or something like that. I don't go that often where I need to spend the extra money for the program to get free movie tickets.
Were you still grandfathered in when they were giving you pretty much this subscription service, like
from COVID
over and over and
that?
over from all the pandemic stuff?
Yeah, they gave me they waived the renewal fees till 2024, right. And this was back in 2020. So for the next 3.5 years, I didn't have to pay any of the fees for it.
Gotcha.
They threw a bunch of reward dollars at you to keep you going.
They were practically begging you to stay with it.
Right. So I stayed with it. They paid for the next 3 years. Why wouldn't I stay with it? I kept getting all the rewards.
Sure.
Stuff. Then over time, you use the rewards and then they wind up disappearing. So you run out of them. I'll get to that in just a second. So the adult ticket was $17.79. The convenience fee for using the app to buy the tickets, which I was about to say, they run ads before the movie, and they have marketing everywhere in the theater to sign up for the Stubs program, use the app for everything like everybody else does. Like the fast food places, they don't have their deals at the restaurant anymore. You get them through the app. A buy one, get one free, something 50% off, buy two, get this, whatever. You get it through the app. You don't go into the restaurant or a store anymore and see the deals that they have, right?
No, because there's app exclusive ones. And sometimes there are things on the app that you could only get through the app. And if you tried to order it in the place, they wouldn't give it to you. Like there was like this meal at Jack in the Box. I know sore subject for you, but they wouldn't, unless I ordered it on the app, they wouldn't ring it up. Like they had no way to ring it up. So I literally had to stand there in the lobby, get on the app, order it, and wait for them to get the little order and then do it and then give it to me while I was standing there. It's the most convoluted thing I've ever done.
Right.
It was delicious.
I know. Every time he goes out, I'm like, get a sourdough Jack, because that's what I enjoy at a Jack in the Box, but he never does. All right, so going on, and the reason why I'm reading it, I know the video you can see it, but the radio audience needs to hear it. Then, like, I had the drink on there, a large drink, $7.79, which is already friggin' ridiculous. But they charge you a service fee of $1 for ordering the food, because when you purchase, you order, put your ticket into your cart, then it says, would you like a combo? Would you like this? And then it shows you the specialties for whatever movies are happening, because popcorn buckets are the big craze right now based on a movie. So you can get the stuff for a Minecraft movie, which is out currently. And I think there's another thing coming out. I forget which.
I think they're promoting Star Wars. Episode 3 is coming back in the theaters this week. And they're doing like little sippers and all that.
It links you to the section. Do you want to order this? Do you want to order a specialty combo? Do you want to order like everything? They're even adding different foods in there, like the pretzel nuggets and boneless chicken wings and all that stuff and all the different flavors. They're just trying to convince you to come to the movie theater by offering you more food choices. But you're paying the service fee of $1. That's the equivalent of, I went up to the concession counter, ordered the soda, and they's like, do you want a tip? No, I don't. But if you order it through the app, which they keep pushing you to do, they're making you tip automatically.
I just think it kind of nickels and dimes you a bit, especially in this section here, where it's like they're already charging you the convenience fee.
Right.
That's it. If you're already going to charge that, then that's what you should charge. Right. And to add another service fee because you wanted a drink seems like now they're just nickel and diming you. Like it's ridiculous.
Intersect saying in the chat, service fees is such a load of shit because you know for a fact the people that are doing the actual work don't get that $1.
No, they're not getting a tip.
No, it's going all to the corporation, right? So they push all the convenience stuff because that's how theaters make their money. It's not really from the movie tickets. It's you being there and buying all the other pointless garbage that's at a movie theater. Then they add the taxes, which is about $2. So for one ticket for an adult, a large soda, and all the fees and taxes was $31.21.
I can't believe you're spending that much to go see a movie.
To go see a movie. And I said, wait a minute. I shouldn't be paying any of these fees. I still have a ton of reward things on there. Why isn't this happening? So I go and I look, and when you go to the payment thing there, I didn't see this at first.
Mm-hmm.
So here's your payment selection.
Oh, look,
right?
you can probably pay in 4 with the PayPal if you want to finance your movie trip.
Right. So it gives you the option. I don't know what BitPay is, but there's
I've never heard. Probably
your credit card,
meme
Visa card,
coin.
whatever card you have added to there. BitPay gives you PayPal, gives you Venmo as an option. There's an advertisement right under the payment stuff here that says, don't check out yet. You could be missing savings. And then they want you to sign on for the free Capital One shopping app, which ties into another bank thing with more fees and all that garbage. It's like get a free $10 bonus if you sign up now while you sign up for this before you pay. So you're paying before you're paying. I didn't see this at the bottom because of the way it looks on the phone. To use your gift cards, reward dollars, vouchers, any of that stuff is buried at the bottom and not as an option where you can select what you want. It's a hidden drop-down window. You see the little V right there in the corner?
Yeah, they drop that. They hide that stuff.
They hid it. So when I went to go and purchase this stuff, and then I realized, I'm like, wait a minute, it didn't apply any of my stuff. I had to go and hit the refund the purchase. And then seeing that they refunded the whole purchase, except the fees. So I paid $31.21 and I got 26 something back. They kept the fee, they kept the service fees and the convenience fees. So I'm like, that's not going to happen. So I wound up trying to call them, which I couldn't get anybody on there. Surprisingly, I had to do direct message through Twitter, X, and I actually got somebody there that was doing a lot of correspondence with me. So I said, here's what happened. Here's the issue. Why wasn't any of this applied? What's going on? And the lady I was speaking with pointed out that it's at the bottom. And I said, that's really a very sneaky tactic that you caught me with something that usually I'm pretty good with catching these things. But you did this. It's placed on purpose so that you would forget to use that stuff and pay in full all the time, which is pretty fucking shady. Right. So she wound up reversing the other charges back to me, the convenience fee and the service fee and all that, which I wound up, no, I didn't have to use it going forward. So I said, okay, great. That's all taken care of. And I said, why wasn't this applied? Why was I paying the fees to begin with? I'm this member here. Oh, you're not this member. You're the intermediate one or the beginning one. I go, that's impossible. I've always had the premier level. Yeah, it never renewed. What do you mean it didn't renew? And this is a direct message chat going back and forth. So while I'm waiting for her to respond, I'm going through my emails and I find it. It said at the beginning of December, hey, the fees are changing from $15.99 to $18 for the premier level, which is ridiculous. To keep the service going, we'll charge you after the first of the new year. So, okay, I'm not touching it. It's always been automatic. Why would I have to do anything? Well, apparently that was the time when I had the credit card theft.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Right. So that was something I was not aware of, that because you think you catch everything to update with the new card information, but there's always going to be things that fall through the cracks. Like you'll get a notice. Hey, we tried to charge you. It bounced back. We'll try again in 2 days. Please update your account. You get those notices.
Right.
I went looking through all my email. AMC purposely did not notify me, which was dumb because they lost out on money by not notifying me that they tried to charge for the renewal and it bounced back. You always get that message from any service that if your card information's wrong, say it expired, whatever happened, they let you know they couldn't charge you. Please come and fix this. They did nothing. So for the last 4 months, I had no idea I wasn't even part of the program anymore. Had to readjust the thing here. And they said, all right, well, it's going to be this plus this. I go, it shouldn't be plus this because it told me in December it would be $18.
Right.
Yeah, but when we tried to charge it, I go, yes, but you didn't notify me that when I was going through this credit card information that it didn't charge. There's no email correspondence from you, and you can look in your service and it will tell you for finance, they have to log that stuff. There was no correspondence with me to correct my financial information on this. Plus, I bought a ticket for the other Marvel thing that happened a couple months ago. Captain America 4.
That's right. Brave New World. Yeah.
So I had no idea even then that I was paying the fees for this shit. Well, you have to go through the app and do that. I'm like, well, waive the other stuff. I'm not renewing again. I've been with you since 2012. Fix this. So the lady fixed it, but I had to go through the app. Now I go to the app. Look what this says. This is just showing the level of incompetence of this corporation. Look at this. I go to upgrade. It's giving me an issue. Won't let me upgrade. It says the little window, premiere subscription was be at guest's favorite theater. What?
I think was is supposed to be must.
Who cares what it was supposed to be?
I know, but that's a terrible typo.
Corporation that was begging me to stay and other people to stay because they were teetering on dying altogether because of the pandemic. And this is the shit that they do. They overcharge. There's nobody overseeing anything. They probably had so many layoffs. There's nobody to catch these little things.
This is the equivalent of buying like a knockoff T-shirt from China that they just can't spell something correctly because of the translation. So yeah, this is a Chinese website now, and its premiere subscription was be at guest favorite theater.
Yeah, premiere subscription was be at guest favorite theater. So I'm sitting there and I go, do I have to go to the stupid movie theater to do this? Can I not do this over the app? This makes zero sense, right?
Right.
So I send this screenshot to the DM for AMC, and I said, what is this? I said, besides being wildly grammatically, I'm saying it wrong too.
Grammatically.
I'm so grammatically incorrect. What is this that I can't even renew through the app? And I got a let me look into this. I'm like, oh great, this is not a real employee. This is a third party telemarketing service or whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those guys from India that his name is Steve.
Right. So she comes back and said, okay, you need to log out of the app and log back in, and then it should work. And I go, okay, it should work, that it should have renewed my stuff. And when it couldn't, it should have notified me. It should work that I'm already logged into this thing. You already took my money once before I had to have you refunded. You won't let me upgrade to pay for your premium service. This is twice now in a year that you're preventing me from giving you more money. How is nobody fired at this company?
This is the same company that was going to go under until a bunch of internet bros bought a bunch of stock and saved that industry. They saved GameStop and they saved AMC, and both companies are pretty much out to screw you constantly. Yeah,
and GameStop is barely alive as it is. They lost their partnership with Game Informer. They lost all of that stuff.
Oh, and today with the Switch 2 going live as far as pre-orders,
save it for,
I know, but they were a mess.
Okay, we'll get into Switch in a second. So Intersect saying, let me look into this, and then gunshots. So finally I log out, log in, I get back into there, I go through everything. Now, let me show you how different it is when you have the Premiere service, how up in front the payment plan stuff is. Look at that. Now, there's your options to pay, and right under that, hey,
Visa, got it.
You can use your rewards, gift cards, promos, all of that stuff in addition to you paying. When you don't have the service, it's buried down at the bottom that you don't even see it at the bottom of your phone. When you do have the service, it's right there front and center. Still under the hidden drop menu, which is still terrible.
A lot of websites do that. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, oh, you want a coupon? Good luck finding where to put it.
Yeah. So
it should be on the payment screen, but it was on like 3 screens prior because they wanted. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah. Terrible. So, one go through, and then I realized I had something that was already clicked, that a voucher that I used for Captain America that I didn't realize didn't go through because of this issue. So I go and I click another voucher today. So now I'm spending more than I want through the rewards money. I'm spending more of the rewards money that I didn't want to spend for this ticket. The one I applied for Captain America is still valid. Expired the day this was going on.
Of course it did.
No, so if I didn't use it that day.
So you got to use it.
I got to use it on that day, because had I not used it, it would have expired, and that was a $10 voucher or reward thing that they had on there.
Okay, after all this headache, after all this mess,
Right.
what did you end up spending total after everything to go see this movie next week?
Okay. So I had the existing reward applied, had a current reward applied that I was not aware of that until as I was about to check out. Pulling up the app right now to tell you what
as it stands, we were looking at $31 for you to enjoy the Thunderbolts at noon.
So adult ticket $17.79 minus $15 of stub rewards.
Holy crap.
Convenience fee waived.
Okay.
Large drink $7.79. Waived service fee. AMC Stubs benefits minus 50 cents. They took off of that.
Okay.
And then the taxes were 66 cents.
Okay.
All of that, $10.74.
Okay. And that's a much better ticket price. And that's with your soda, right? Like that's
with,
everything?
Yeah, with the drink
Okay.
and the ticket price and everything. Got
But
my
that is
usual
on
ticket.
top of what, $17 that you had to pay to get back into this program?
$17.99.
Okay, so you're up to
I'm back-
27.
Yeah,
So you saved $4.
apparently. So
Okay.
yeah.
And that's a monthly subscription, right?
It was $17.99 plus taxes, total $19.18. So I'm back to
1918.
pretty much where
you're
I
back
was.
to 31, but now you've got your subscription up to speed to the level you feel comfortable at.
Correct.
Ready to go see Fantastic Four in July.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then, this is new because this wasn't on the app the last time here. I see the previous purchase all in green now instead of white. Refunded the ticket, refunded the service charge, refunded the taxes, refunded this. Everything's all refunded.
And now, and like I said, is this this is a monthly subscription, right? So you're spending $17
No, that's
a
for the
month?
year.
Okay, so that's much better because I was just going to say, like, I do the movie pass where it's like $20 a month and I can go see as many movies as I want.
That's different. You're going for actual movie tickets. This is
agree.
a rewards-based program.
Right. No, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that is better on your end since you don't see as many movies. I was just like, if that was like per month, like you have to go to more things, man.
Right.
Like, but okay.
And that
For a year,
tied
that's fine.
into so you have all that happening.
Mhm.
And then the news was either yesterday or today where they talked to the CEO, Ted, whatever his name is from Netflix.
Sarandos.
And he was talking about how Netflix is saving Hollywood because people aren't going to the theaters anymore, what
Mhm.
have you. So that could just be him boasting about, Netflix getting publicity and what have you. I went and looked it up and it's still declining. The trends of people going to the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
They don't see the fun or the desire. Now, there's a lot of people online that were saying, I still go to the movies all the time. I love going to, and that's great. If you like going to do that thing, that's fine. I get the experience, or I used to get it. I don't enjoy it too much anymore. But most people aren't going to theaters anymore because in this one article, it was saying most people are now used to the fact that if they wait a few weeks, it'll show up on video on demand where they can rent it.
They're not wrong.
From iTunes or what's I don't know,
Amazon, iTunes, Fandango. Like you can do all these things.
It's like I rather spend the $10 to $12 to rent the movie at home than all the extras going to the theater. Or depending if it's a certain movie company that owns it that has a streaming platform, give it a month or in certain circumstances 3 weeks after the movie comes out. And it's available on Peacock or on Disney or not
Max
usually Disney, but Max or something like that.
Disney does take a little longer because we still don't even have the Captain America movie.
But they can command that and people will be okay with it. Disney's one of those exceptions that they can still do what used to be done and people are okay with it, whether they're not, but they'll just do it and people.
They have certain restrictions. They have very big limitations on like what theaters can and cannot do. They demand certain amount of screens per movie release. They're going to probably be doing that for Thunderbolts. We're going to be like, look, we need the buy-in here. We need 3 screens running at all times. You can't use coupons for this. Like, I'm surprised you were able to use your stuff because they get very demanding with how they do it. And most companies will abide by it because they don't want to lose the big dog in this.
Right. Well, I bought it. I got opening day tickets. I'm going at it's either 12 or 12. I forget. I just had the app open and I forgot. Like 12 or 12:30 on the second to go see Thunderbolts. And if anyone's going to see it before then, if you got premiere passes or whatever, do us the kindness and send us a note. Nothing about the movie, but let us know the credit scene situation.
Yeah. Is it worth staying for?
Is there a mid-credit scene?
How
Is
many?
there an end-credit scene? Is it only an end-credit scene? Any of that stuff, let us know, because that's the only thing I actually look for information from Marvel. is like, how long am I wasting my time during the credits for something?
Right.
Outside of that, I'm going to the bathroom and I'm leaving. I've got other things to do. All right, so there's that. Moving on. The Pope died.
He sure did.
This is a big deal if you're not aware of it. I heard a clip. I think it was on WATP, who are these podcasts, of a clip they had of Opie talking about the Pope. And Opie can't talk like a functional human being anymore, but he's like, oh, the Pope died, and apparently it's a big deal. It's a big deal the Pope died. Did you know the Pope? Like, he does that nonsense, right?
Gets that high pitched, yeah.
Yeah, but he's just sitting there talking to himself. You know what he looks like now? He looks like, you remember when the state used to do MTV Sports? And they had the one guy being Dan Cortez.
Right.
And you go, golf was a game to play. Like, he would just do all those weird things because was the slam cut editing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing in real life. He's a bobblehead now. Anyway, so he's talking about, I don't know if the Pope, did you know the Pope's a big deal? It's a whole thing, whatever.
Yeah, like we're aware of the Pope, man.
Yeah, everyone knows the Pope. The last time we had a Pope change, we were still on the air. We were still doing Opie and Anthony when Francis came in, and we were even on the air for when Benedict came in.
Yeah.
That was like 2005?
Yeah, because before it was Pope John Paul II. Yes. And then he passed, and Benedict,
he was there. He was the Pope when I was born. Like,
oh my God, he's been the Pope since, like, as far as I remember. Yeah,
right. Exactly. And then Benedict came in, and then everyone, like, this guy is a gremlin guy is apparently, like, tied to Nazism or something. So he only lasted there a couple of years.
Yeah, so he abdicated and left.
Stepped down, and then they said it was medical issues, and then Francis came in. But I remember specifically that. And I'll look for the audio of it. When Benedict was being, anointed? What's the term? Crowned? Whatever. Elected? I know he's elected by the conclave. Appointed, we'll say, right?
Yeah.
We were sitting there watching live one morning when they have the smoke. And that's how they still do that, that
the ancient, smoke,
archaic. Yeah. He wanted me to have AC/DC's Hell's Bells ready so that now this was 2005, right? We didn't have the video element. So whenever he would turn on, go to the news feed when we'd start to see the white smoke, whatever, he wanted me to hit Hell's Bells to play. You know how that has that long intro where you're hearing the big gong of the bell.
Yeah.
All that stuff playing there. Like, he thought this was a great bit. And look, the Pope being appointed and everything, it's a speaking point, but how much are we supposed to do on that, right? I always remembered that because I was like, this is so boring. Who gives a shit about this? Yes, it's a big deal. It's interesting. We have a new Pope. We'll find out. But sitting there watching the white smoke and then just the aerial coverage of people at the Vatican cheering, and you're just sitting there like, how long are we supposed to keep doing that? And we played the whole song while we're listening to Fox News anchors talk about this whole thing. And I was just like, all right, whatever. But now
it feels like the same thing, like when the royals marry. Like, it's such a worldly thing for people to get into. And I'm like, who cares?
At least when the royals get married, you're just watching the circus show. It's like in New York when they have the elephants walk through the tunnel all the way to Madison Square Garden. It's like you're watching them in a Cinderella carriage go through, London to Westminster Abbey to see all of this. Like, it's a whole spectacle. It's a performance. So you're sitting there watching it and you can be intrigued. You could not give a shit about these people, but you're like, you'll never see this many gold-plated anythings. No, in real life, you watch all of this stuff, the celebrities showing up, the pomp, the circumstance,
right?
The doves, the horses, the trotting back to Buckingham Palace, and at least it's a show. The Pope, you see the smoke, and you're like, oh, they show the people all excited, and that's it.
Like, there's nothing else.
There's nothing else until they actually crown the Pope, and then he goes on the balcony and gives a speech or what have you. I found it was more entertaining that when a Pope died, as far as the coverage and everything going,
right.
and not like in a morbid way, but the theatrics, the performance, the spectacle of it all seems to be a lot more involved when a Pope passes than when they're alive and being anointed into it. These photos, did you watch any of that stuff that was happening?
To be honest with you, like, they announced that he had passed, and then it just felt, I hate to say this, I'm not Catholic, I'm not even religious, but like, it felt very nonchalant, like no one cared. Like, I feel like around the world it's a big deal, but I don't feel like it's getting the run like after Pope John Paul passed. It was not such a big deal.
It's very polarizing.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't extremely liberal, but he was more liberal than a lot of.
He was definitely more.
The Catholic Church
liberal.
has ever been, right? And that rubbed a lot of people within the Catholic religion the wrong way, because it wasn't super by the book, super strict, super whatever.
No.
And he lacks a lot of what was regulations, I guess, rules of the Bible, the way of living of the church, and the people who were really fans of this guy, and I'm not in any way, knocking Pope Francis or what have you, but the people who were really fans of this guy were not as vocal as the people who were more outspoken against his practices and beliefs with an interpretation of church law and religion and what have you. What I do hear a lot of people are concerned, almost like how it was here in this country, that if Trump's elected, he's going to appoint more conservative judges to the Supreme Court. It's that similar vibe online right now, that they're going to pick a super conservative. They're
going to go back to like some hardcore,
some archaic thing that's not going to be friendly towards gay people, friendly towards. Look, you still have a hell of a long way to go before anything trans and all that stuff is going to be remotely tolerated. Right? The gay people had to deal with that for decades, centuries, even. Trans is not anywhere near there yet. But the other practices, policies, things like that he was implementing more and saying it's okay if they're gay. They're not going to be married in the church, but I'll still bless you. I'll do, what would be considered controversial nowadays for religious-based things. People are worried they're going to go back. In fact, there was talk, I think yesterday or the day before, that they're eyeing an American cardinal as a candidate for the papacy.
I saw two names that have kind of popped up, and I don't know their names off the top of my head, but one of them is like a black guy. I think he might be the American cardinal that they're kind of eyeing. And another one is like, it looks like he's like maybe like from the Philippines.
Okay.
Yeah, he seemed. I was watching some footage of him. He did a little thing like where it's like he went and was in Poland talking. He's like, I don't really know any Polish words other than like vodka, this and this. Like, he seems like he's kind of like, look at me, I'm joking around. I don't know anything about anyone in charge of anything. Like, it's just weird. I didn't watch any live footage of anything. I was watching like they have to steal his room, so it was like they wrap like ribbon around things, and then they take like wax, and then like they take his ring, and then they destroy his ring, so no one can make any rules after he dies until they get a new pope.
It's got to be.
There's a lot of weird rules going on.
It's like what they do for museums, where they catalog everything, and it's got to be some stuff goes out. I guess they have some stuff from past popes and whatever on display, like at the Vatican, almost like mini museum kind of things.
I got all my pogs.
Other stuff.
The Pope Pogs. He's like, I got Pope John Paul II.
Pope John Pog II.
That's the show title.
All right, hold on. I'll write that down.
I got the Francis. Remember Francis? Yeah, he's back, but in Pog form.
All right, Pog Francis can be another title. All right, we'll see. Yeah, so they got to go through, catalog that stuff. Some stuff gets taken to the catacombs of the Vatican because it's part of religious rite, religious tradition, what have you. So it'll be interesting to see where all of this goes. But back to the point of him dying, they didn't. I don't think they did this with Pope John Paul. At least I'm not remembering it, because he passed away again. I think 2005 was when he passed away, or the end of 2004. I know we were on XM at the time, so if there's only some kind of device we could use to
April 2nd, 2005.
Okay, 5. I don't remember them parading the passing of the Pope out into the public like this.
And you're right. He became Pope October 16th, 1978.
Yeah.
So like for our entire lives, he was Pope.
Right.
And all these idiots get 3 popes. Ugh, fucking.
Travis in the chat. Do you think someone had to clear the Pope's browser history before cataloging began?
Yup. Probably.
He was really into Black Mirror. It was so weird. That and Naked and Afraid, Below Deck.
He watched a lot of UK celebrity, whatever it was.
Yeah, a lot of things that are not very becoming of the papacy. So
he's like, if Mickey Rourke is out, so am I.
when he died, they go through, I guess, the embalming process, the preserving process, and a couple of things came up of interesting note. One, they said the coffin will be zinc lined and airtight.
Yeah.
I looked up the zinc line because apparently before, I forgot what element they used before zinc. They were
cypress, lead, and oak is usually
that's what
the
it was.
Normal one.
It was to prevent or decelerate the rotting process, the decomposition process, but it was also to try to preserve the holy vessel as much as possible, right? And then it switched to zinc because apparently zinc works better than lead, and pretty much, from what I was understanding, it's almost vacuum sealing the Pope in his coffin.
They got one of those giant like machines that you put stakes in there, and then you put
drop
the
them in a
up.
big plastic bag in the center of St. Peter's Cathedral, right there, and it's just and then shrink wrapped. It has the giant thing where that heats up the plastic to seal it. Yeah, so I was reading up about the zinc lined coffin because I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting. But until they do that, he's in this other kind of coffin that will allow you to view him open casket style.
In his last pose.
Right? So when I saw one photo like from a distance, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So they have him in this coffin, and what I thought was like, it's got to be some kind of space age technology, like a museum style glass that's on top of him, so that the sunlight, UV, other elements don't deteriorate the body while he's laying in state for all of this stuff. No, there's no glass.
Oh, he's just open air.
It's open. It's fully open. Now, before continuing on with this, I hate open casket funerals. Yeah, I don't know why anyone insists on doing this. I don't know why anyone that loved this person, whether it's the family members, the husband, the wife, would ever put their spouse in this position to be observed. I don't know why this was ever a tradition. They're like, oh, so you could remember her. She looks so lifelike. I've seen one in my life, terrifying, and you look and you go, that is not, I saw that person not too long ago. That is not how they look. Because no matter how close they try to do with the embalming, the molding, everything else they try to do there, it's never 100%. It looks like a bad Madame Tussauds wax museum figure sitting in the casket there. Stop doing that. Stop open casket wakes and sitting Shiva with that kind of shit. Stop doing that. Seal it off. Put memorable photos of how you want that person to be remembered when they looked in, during better times. Put them all up there. Everyone likes seeing the photo collages that people put together, photos of the family, all that stuff, because that's how you want to remember the person. The open casket shit has got to stop. Like there's a lot of traditions that just don't need to be anymore. Mm-hmm. That's one of them. Now I say that because they put the Pope on display. This is in a private portion of the Vatican, where I guess he gets blessed by the ranking senior official below the Pope, whatever, Lieutenant Governor Pope that's there.
The Vice Pope.
Yeah, the Vice Pope comes up.
Because I know they have the Camerlengo.
The Pope Minister comes in, flicking the wand with the water, going crazy like the wacky weasel sprinkler.
Smoke thing.
Right. Look at this. All right. So this is on display privately. You've got the Royal Guardsmen, or not Royal, whatever they're called, the Vatican Guardsmen there. Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, change your outfits, man. It's 2025. These
you don't need to look like a court gesture just for ceremonial purposes. So that's him on display there for just the it's like a private mass inside for the Vatican officials, right? Look at this closer up.
Looks like the penguin. He's got a big bruise on the side of his face.
Yeah. So our right looking at it, his left, or what was his left?
His left side, yeah.
His eye, cheekbone, lower part of the cheek, up through the side of the temple area into the forehead is all like bruised and purple. I guess, did he have a bad fall or something that led to all of this
stuff? It's possible.
But he still has the Pope hat. He's in what they call the traditional burial garb. He's got a set of blessed rosaries in his hands to be buried with.
Right.
But look, it's a velvet coffin. He's laying in there. There's no protection. There's no glass. There's no nothing. He's embalmed, but there's nothing to prevent anything else. Now, this lasts a couple days when you go to see in a regular funeral for an open casket. It's only open for maybe a day or two, but when there's not viewing hours, they close the thing up to preserve it. They're not preserving this.
Do you think from a different angle you would see like all those little like pine tree things that you hang up in your car window, just like right around his head, just keep it smelling nice?
It's red to match the whole motif.
It's like, ooh, this one smells like Hawaii.
This smells like apple cinnamon. So here's the Pope laid out there, but it's just like, it's gray. It's not even like a white color normal. It's just it's like putty, if you will. It looks horrific. And then they bring him to the main part of the cathedral, which I'll show you in a second. But I want to show you, look how they from after being blessed and set up here, they wagon him out through the general public of the Vatican, right? Or not Vatican, sorry. They've got all these pallbearers there, I guess. And all I kept thinking of is that scene from
pallbearer in there.
All I kept thinking of was that scene from Holy Grail, Bring Out Your Dead.
I'm not dead.
I'm not quite dead. Shut up. And they're just like tasing the Pope to get him back down in there.
Look, he's not dead. Look, if I give you this.
This is a semi-zoomed in aerial shot at the Vatican as they're walking him from the one sacred area to the cathedral. But look at that. Open, a bird could shit on him. Maybe it starts raining out of nowhere, a bit quick sunburst. Somebody hucks something in there, and now there's forever a Mountain Dew or Celsius can in the coffin there.
Someone's chucking like pistachio seeds, like the shells.
People are flicking pennies in there like a wishing well for good luck. They're making their wishes by, I hit the Pope.
It's pennies for Pontiff.
Yeah, that's a good pennies for Pontiff. That could be another title. All right, but look at that. Isn't that that's bizarre?
Go back
right?
real quick for a second. Hold on.
What, back to the other one?
The other photo that you had. Okay, so this is like an actual, there's not even, you're right, like it's pallbearers. It's not even like a wagon thing. Like these guys are holding it. It reminds me of like those those like guys in like Africa that are doing the dances.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like this is gonna.
If they had some kind of dance number going on where they just have the coffin, they're all bouncing it on their head as they're dancing, right. Like Pope the waiters at a Jamaican sandals. You know, where they've got the candle on top of the serving tray as they're trying to limbo, something like that. Pope it up a little bit, but they didn't do anything here. It was just weird that they just brought him through the open air like this. And then he goes on to display here inside St. Peter's Cathedral. Now you can come, they have open viewing for a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
So he's laying in state. You can't even get up to where the velvet ropes are sectioning off this area. No, you're at least another 6 to 10 feet away from the velvet rope to view the Pope. So you come in, it's just like looking across the street at your neighbor's house and like, oh yeah, they got something going on over there. That's about it. So I just found the whole open coffin thing very weird.
It is kind of weird.
It's a really archaic practice and it's bizarre. And I just don't think we need as a human society to do that anymore.
Yeah, because like my thing is like, why would you want to go, hey, you know what? Let's get in the car. Let's go see the Pope's body. Like, you don't, like, what are you doing? You don't just go visit the Pope's body before they bury him.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's just, I'm going to put this back up here because Big Red Tower just goes, ew, look at his hands. Yeah. Intersect saying the slammer is old age. Saying he probably died laying on his side and that's where the blood. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, they said he had a stroke or let me see. I just saw something. Hope to God. It's getting 2 weeks of prayer and mourning. His funeral is this weekend. I did my pay in 4 to go, so I'm financing my Pope trip. It'll be great.
I could still shit on somebody, but I'd have to give them the benefit of the doubt if they financed a trip to go see the Pope's funeral.
Right.
If they're not uber Catholic to go do this. And I still have some old way thinking relatives that had a photo of the Pope in the house with a little candle and stuff in there, like old school Catholic. I have 1 or 2 family members that are still like that. If they said they were going to see the Pope, I'd be like, that's ridiculous, but it makes sense if they went.
Sure. Yeah.
If it was like, hey, let's get the whole family together.
I just wanted to be part of the scene.
No, I've been to the Vatican once about a little over a decade ago, and it was great. I got to walk through the cathedral. I got to sit there in the pews for a little bit. I got to see everything I possibly could because the Pope was not on site. He was visiting somewhere else. So when he's not there, the security is a bit more lax and they open up more of the Vatican so that you can see other stuff. So because he wasn't, that church is huge, by the way. You can walk into that cathedral. There could be, I think, up to 6 different masses all under that one roof.
Sheesh.
Like there's pews going this way and there's an altar. There's pews going over here. There's an altar. Like they could have 6 different masses going on at the same time or set up consecutively one after another for whatever specialty reason within that thing. That's how big it is. And then they have the whole outdoor thing where they prop up the chairs like it's WrestleMania, and you can go there and see the Pope, and then you get the first 20 rows because they paid extra get to take the chairs home with them that they saw the Pope.
Could you imagine your house has like a little shrine to a chair you sat on because you saw the Pope?
I think that would be kind of cool if I had the chair.
Wait, what's that chair?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't want to know. Then you go, it's just like a story.
What's the dent in it? Oh, it was a long story. Big Red Tower says he looks like how South Park would make him look. Yes, that is pretty much it. Travis in the chat saying the coffin and the pillow is filled with cedar shave. Is that really true?
I don't know.
I mean, well, then the smell's delightful because if you ever walk into a place that has cedar shavings,
right? It smells like a Home Depot in here.
It smells like my attic. That's bizarre. One last thing with the Pope before we move on to other things here. I was looking because anytime a major situation happens, you look for who did the wrong thing online, who said the wrong thing, be it accidental or intentional, did the wrong thing. And I found 2. One is questionable. The other one is blatantly a problem. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you seen these or no?
I don't think I've seen them. There was one quote from our sitting president that was like,
no, not him.
Yeah.
Forget that.
That one was a little like, okay.
Because even if he's being, he's being respectful and whenever he's going over to the funeral,
He'll be
and
at the
everything,
funeral. Yeah.
which is what he should do as a head of state, world
Sure.
leader. All that, you're supposed to do all that stuff. And he put out a nice comment or whatever. Believe whatever you want about any world leader and stuff, but when they do the right thing and say the right things for at the right times, you have to.
That's fine. But when you say I'm looking forward to going to a funeral and you put an exclamation point, that maybe sends the wrong message as well.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yes,
that's what I would add in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's like the first lady and I are, of course, going to attend, and I'm paraphrasing the funeral of the Pope.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to it! Exclamation point. I was like, really? You're looking forward to that?
That's
a little weird.
That all right. That will.
I understand it's his duty to do that and go.
I thought it was more something of him putting out a statement saying, praising the Pope and whatever, and then you're getting Palestinian people shitting on him.
Oh yeah, no.
That always happens. That you brush off. That's all right. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
All right. So that's all right. So that's one. You don't
one.
have it because I didn't know about that till now, but that's one. Number two, Jimmy Fallon. Did you see this?
No, but I'm sure it involves some kind of stupid game show thing he does.
No. Now I've known Jimmy a while. I haven't seen him in many years, but he used to frequent O&A. He used to frequent a lot of stuff at Sirius. I went and saw Colin Quinn's first show that he was doing down in the West Village before it went to Broadway. I was there with Roland and Jimmy Fallon and I forgot his executive producer's name at the time, but we all went there. And Jimmy was always been nice to me, so I really don't have anything bad to say about Jimmy Fallon. But this tweet he put up there, and I went, "Oh, I think he meant the right thing, but it comes off bad." Look at this. When he was over there with a bunch of other celebrities and he's shaking hands with the Pope. It's a photo of him shaking hands with the Pope. And it says, "It was an honor meeting Pope Francis last summer. I'm glad I made you laugh. Thank you for your encouraging words. Rest in peace."
I'm
glad I made you laugh is the wrong. It's not terrible, but it's definitely wrong.
Well, I couldn't remember in the years growing up knowing of Pope John Paul II that I ever really can picture him laughing and enjoying himself. It's a very stoic position. It's very, serious position to be. You're the head of, you're the direct line to Christ and all this stuff. This guy, if you can make the Pope laugh, that could be something like, look, I told a joke and the Pope, slapped his knee. Like, that's something to be proud of. I don't know about putting it out.
When you come back from that particular venture and you talk about your experience with the Pope, that's when you say that.
Yeah,
maybe. When the Pope passed, right? Now, say Jimmy Fallon had passed and the Pope put out a statement.
Same statement, just his.
Something like,
I'm glad I made you laugh.
Glad I made you laugh, Jimmy. Although that would be quite funny. But if he said he always made me laugh, the time I met him, that's when you say those kind of things. You don't bring it back to what I did for you to the person who died. So coming off like that, Jimmy got a lot of flack online for this thing, saying, "I'm glad I made you laugh." That he's just like, dude, it's part that it was the kind of the wrong thing to say, in the wrong moment, maybe unintentional, I'll say, but the wrong tone for it.
Yeah.
Two, it's never been a worse time to be a celebrity online because people don't like a lot of celebrities and they're always looking for more reasons to point out that celebrities are tone deaf, they're elitist, they don't pay attention, that all of that. They want
a lot of it feels very self-serving. I'm glad I did this for you. Like the Pope would be like, "It's an honor meeting Jimmy Fallon. I'm glad I made you laugh. Sorry, you're going to hell."
Right. So yeah. He got a lot of
that's such an innocuous thing to say though, but I could see where people will be like, "Wrong time, dude. Like, come on. It's not about you."
Big Red Tower saying, "I wonder what prefabricated encouraging words he had for Fallon." I don't know. Throw us some suggestions. Let's read some. What do you think the Pope thought of Jimmy Fallon?
Yeah, what do you think the Pope's rest in peace to Jimmy Fallon would be?
Oh, here we are. Big Red Tower. Bet you the Pope loved fart jokes.
I bet.
Imagine he had the little fart machine like Leslie Nielsen did.
No, he's just Jimmy Fallon's just putting his hand under his armpit, just doing that in front of the Pope. The Pope's like, yeah, it's funny.
There's next. Yeah. There's a photo of George Clooney going like this.
Could you imagine like Pope Francis is just like in Robin Hood Men in Tie, she goes, funny. He's funny.
Well, anyway.
Get him out of here.
So that was number one. That's number two, actually, because you told me the Trump thing's number one.
Yeah, sorry.
This is the one that's questionable because I'm going to plead dumb on this. I don't know what he was trying to say here. This is Mario Lopez of Kids Incorporated and Saved by the Bell fame, currently the host of Access Hollywood.
Did he post lyrics to Friends Forever from Saved by the Bell?
That would
be the Pope being friends forever. And he's just playing the drums.
He taps his heart twice with the peace symbol saying, peace out, Frankie. No, look at this. So it's a photo of the Pope. It says Pope Francis, 1936 to 2025. Mario's quote says, women's biggest enemy are other women. That's a fact. 3 periods.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
I don't know, but it was legit. When I saw it there, I screen capped it right away. I'm like, this is going to be taken down. This doesn't make any sense. On April 21st at 10:59 a.m., he posted this.
That is like the two things don't match.
Yeah.
Unless that's a quote like the Pope said, but it's done in Italian. Women's biggest enemy are other women.
Other women.
That's a fact.
That's a fact. It's like, whoa.
It's like, wow.
But I didn't understand what this meant.
I have no idea what that would be for.
But was this for something else? And he posted the wrong graphic?
Like he was in his drafts and then he put the picture of the Pope on there and then sent it?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
So, I'll have to do a follow-up for this. I should have, but I've had so many other things going on.
I'm looking stuff up now, see if anything's come up.
See if there was anything about this that made any kind of sense. Big Red Tower said, he's laughing. He said, I think Lopez is saying he doesn't give a crap about the Pope. That's quite possible.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's what a weird thing to do that.
Travis says, Mario Lopez also hosts the in-room movie previews in casino hotels. Or does he mean the Pope?
Or was it the Pope?
The Pope does. Welcome to Caesar's Palace. And there's fireworks behind him. Perhaps you're looking for some of the spicier channels. And he said, flip over to the 400 block. And you're like, oh, okay. The Pope's giving me raunchy suggestions.
That would be great.
Have you seen this movie, Pirates? It's 20 years old, but so good. It's like he's recommended cinematic porn at the casino.
Here's the Pope's top 5 movies.
The Pope totally sold out. But anyway, Godspeed to Pope Francis. Moving on. What else do we have here that we need to discuss?
Pope Frankie. Sorry.
You bought a Nintendo Switch 2.
Yeah, so I wasn't originally going to do it. Last night, as we're doing the show, Wednesday night, well, technically midnight on Thursday, but they were doing like East Coast time. So I'm on the West Coast, so 9 p.m. my time. They were doing the online pre-orders for Target.com, Walmart. I believe Best Buy were doing the 3, and then GameStop went live today, Thursday, as we're doing the show. Gotcha. So I was like, hey, you and I were talking on the phone. I'm just sitting around. I'm like, let's see if I can get in. Complete shit show, as predicted.
Yeah.
You can't get in. The websites are crashing. No one's going on. Things are selling out. Things are not selling out. Things are not live. Like Best Buy's launch at 9:00 didn't happen until like 9:30 because they just couldn't get their system up and running. Target was hit and miss. And Walmart had some, and then, it kind of just faded in and out. But as we were talking, I was messing around, got through on Target finally about, I don't know, like maybe, let's see, 9:30-ish. I finally got through, hit, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get it. because Target doesn't charge you right away. So like this is a win for me if I can just get in and try it out. Sure enough, order went through. I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting a Switch. So I went ahead and pre-ordered that. Today, the GameStop issues where the website crashed. No one can get through. Everyone was really mad at GameStop. Lines out the door. There were signups originally when they did the preview of the Switch 2 to sign up with NintendoofAmerica.com or whatever. They had to put out a press release saying, yeah, we got over 2.2 million requests for you guys to try to buy this thing. We don't have that. So there's going to be a lot of delays. As of right now, it's showing that I've got an order in, which is nice. So we'll see. We'll see if it goes through. Again, the games kind of annoy me, that price, but I'm kind of a sucker for just at least getting the system since it is backwards compatible, just so I'll have it, and then we'll see what happens and what plays out. But yeah, I blamed Brian Shea today, gave him a little plug, and yeah, if you want, go and listen to his review and talking about the Switch 2. It's up on I think our YouTube. It's a little segment out there for Brian Shea talking about Switch. But yeah, it's his fault. He kind of I was kind of against it at first, and then he definitely kind of sold me on it. Like it's going to be a nice little upgrade. Whether it's worth the money or not, I haven't decided. Right. I had to get the bundle. It's the only one I can get. So I am getting Mario Kart with it. I am, spending a little bit more, but in theory, I'm saving money.
Look, I've been a lifelong Nintendo fan, and I think at some point down the line, I might get a Switch 2.
Yeah. It is definitely not priced for families. Like this is like my kids are not going to be eating for a couple months. Right. And I'll be enjoying every second of it.
Did you finance the Switch 2?
No, that would have been funny.
Because I'll tell you this, out of curiosity, you were telling me this. Was it last night? The other night?
I think it was last night when we were talking about it.
And I said, you know what? Let me go check because I have a Target card and stuff. So I went through Target. I got through and I put all my information in there. And I said, yeah, I got to the point where it says click here to do the order. And he said, yeah, did you click the button to do the order? I said, no, because I don't want to order this right now. And he said, yeah, that's where it seems to be the hang up is when you go through all of this stuff.
Yeah, you can sometimes you can get him in the cart, but then once you try to check out, it was just like the spinning wheel of death.
Right. I have no desire to spend $500 on a Nintendo Switch. I have no desire to support the new threshold that Nintendo is trying to establish that games are worth $80.
Yeah, that's a rough one.
And I told you the exceptions for those games. When you have games where you can buy them in different tiers, but if you bought like an $80 to $100 game and it came with all the DLC content, right? Instead of purchasing it separately, whatever like that, that makes sense because that's a lot of stuff. Some people still think games should be $30, and come with the old cartridge or something. I understand around a $50 price point for a lot of these things. I get it. It's with the times and the games are so much better than they used to be. But an $80 threshold Nintendo's trying to command now just because they can do that with their first party franchises. Like you want to play Zelda, it's $80. You want to play Donkey Kong, $80. Mario, Metroid, Mario Kart, Pokemon, I'm sure Kirby, they're all top.
They're all coming, yeah.
They're $80 or more. And you go, well, fuck this. No, I don't want to play these games for $80. I'll wait. And the problem is Nintendo rarely has sales on their own properties.
Yeah. First party games for Nintendo, it is very rare to ever get a discount on it. In fact, I think around Black Friday, they were discounting Breath of the Wild, not even like Tears of the Kingdom, newest Zelda. Breath of the Wild had gotten a like $20 price drop, and the internet was going nuts over it, going, wow, that never happens. Get it if you don't have it, because it ain't happening again anytime soon.
Well, the game's being $80, the system being $450 alone, $500 with the bundle. If you want extra Joy-Cons, all the accessories, they raise the prices.
They raise the prices.
All the accessories, anywhere from the Joy-Cons to the adapter for it, the power charging adapter, even the not the tags, the
tethers.
Is that what it is? The bracelet thing?
Yeah, it's a tether
to hold on to the Joy-Cons and everything are $35. Like it's out of hand.
The amiibos, like the little scan your little things.
They're still doing that?
they're going to release.
I thought they discontinued those a long time ago.
They announced, I think, like a bunch of Street Fighter 6 ones, and then 4 more Zelda ones. Which I'm like, okay, I've got all the other ones. I love Legend of Zelda. They bumped the price on each of these $10. The Zelda ones are $30 each.
Yeah,
I was already mad that they raised it to $20 per.
Yeah,
and now they're the third. I'm not buying them. Like, no. I that is my threshold. I will not, because I don't use them for anything. I think they literally just go behind me as a
somebody
display item.
Did a whole thing. I think it might have been IGN online. Did a whole thing showing you a little animated video of you buy this, you buy this, you buy this accessory, or showing you the cost increase on all the accessories. The travel case, like you can either get the basic case that can't hold any games, or you can get the bigger case that can hold the Switch, the games, the docking system, all of that stuff in there. If you bought everything, it was like $1,300 for all of this stuff. That's insane for Nintendo. I mean, it's insane for Xbox and PlayStation, but Nintendo to do all of this stuff. And I'll say it again, this is going to screw them come holiday time, because it's not like the impulse purchases for a PlayStation or for an Xbox system, where you're going to get the people who, no matter what, have the expendable income, will pay whatever they have to buy it just for the Madden franchise, the 2K franchise for any sports stuff, Call of Duty or Black Ops, Modern Warfare, those shooting franchises.
All right.
And those are people, younger people, that will buy it, have the expendable income no matter what the price point is, because they need to have those games. These are the ones that buy the new Madden every year just because it's updated. They buy the new baseball games, the show, or MLB, whatever. They do that stuff. Those are the people who'll spend that money. Nintendo is kids and family friendly. So majority of it is adults buying it for their kids. Adults are not going to spend $500 when things are super tight and the economy is really, wonky right now and prices are so inflated with everything. Come the holidays, $500 could get several other things. If you have more than one kid, you have to spread that money around. They're going to do that, then buy a game system.
Oh, 100%.
This holiday thing. So Nintendo's really screwing themselves with all of this.
But here's the thing, like, I think, well, at least right now, like, you're right, Christmas is still, a time away, so it's hard to tell how the holidays are going to treat the system. But right now, GameStop's completely sold out of all the pre-orders. Target's sold out, Best Buy sold out, Walmart sold out. Amazon's not getting it. They no one said anything. It is not on there. I think what Brian was saying is that they don't have their first party hookups. So Amazon's not getting it. So right now it's going to be hard to get. I think it's going to be another one of those, it hits shelves and it's going to go off the shelves just as quickly, even at that price point. And then I think that'll fade away after a while. I'm
amazed there's still Best Buys anywhere, right?
I am too.
So I doubt they're getting anything like that, because they don't have the leverage they used to, or the power they used to have to influence exclusivity for games and other stuff. So you're pretty much down to Walmart, Target, something like that. You said GameStop was a cluster F with all of this. What happened with GameStop? Their
entire website went down. No one could access it. Lines out the door. Like, there were lines around buildings just to try to pre-order this thing. GameStop does this fun little thing where it's like, okay, we'll let you pre-order it, but we're going to bundle it. So you have to not only get an extra controller, you have to get the little camera accessory, you have to get the case, you have to get the online subscription. And now you can pre-order it for $600-$700. And it's like, no one's going to do that. So that was a huge ordeal. Like I said, Target was up and down. But
was there anything exclusive to GameStop for why you would buy? Yeah, that's the thing.
That's the problem. There are no exclusives. I
used to have exclusive bundles for Walmart, for Target, for Best Buy. Best Buy used to be one of the leaders of those things. They would have exclusive sales or exclusive add-ons or something, some kind of deal for buying the systems at a Best Buy.
Yeah,
they're long out the window. They're pretty much Sears at this point. They're barely functioning, but they might as well be Sears and dead, because no one's going to a Best Buy for anything anymore. Yeah, Amazon, say what you want about it, is still the main source, and probably Walmart too, of all your shopping.
So I do almost all my shopping on Amazon.
For not having it available to Amazon is also another major problem for Nintendo.
Right.
Because most people go there, they have their Prime, so they're getting free shipping. They have all their other discounts that they're paying for. Buy it through there, click, what have you. They do financing for that. I'm not saying you ever do that, but they offer the financing for video game systems and anything else really you can purchase through there. It's just there's so many. It's a comedy of errors with this thing.
Well, it's like that with any big release. I don't understand how some of these websites don't understand how busy and popular these things are going to be.
Right.
Like they knew this was coming. They didn't go live on the 9th like they were going to. Everyone was waiting on what's going to happen with tariffs and things like that. So then they're like, okay, now that we know we're not changing the price, everything's going to be that. This is when they're going to pre. I mean, they literally told everybody this is when this is happening. And these sites were still not prepared for it. Like, what are you doing? Travis in the chat is saying, are the new Switch games all download only, or is there still a cartridge? It depends. Some of the games will be on the cartridge. Some of the games may not be big enough, like small enough to be just on the cartridge. So it could be like, hey, part of the game's here. You got to download the rest. Yeah. Some of them are just literally physical keys. So you put the cartridge in and it says, okay, the digital copy can be played on this system. So it's kind of a mixture of the three. It is backwards compatible. All your old stuff will fit and work. All your online purchases will transfer over using your cloud-based saves. So this is probably the easiest transition between the two, because you had the Wii, the Wii U, those were, whatever. And then when you got the Switch, none of what you had on the Wii U transferred over. Like they were like, no, we're done. You get the new stuff now. This one at least is trying to ease you into keeping some of your old stuff, your investment, everything that you've done, but upgrading your software, your hardware to get something a little bit better. So good on them on that. They're doing virtual lending game cartridges. So like, if I have Mario that I bought digitally, I can lend that to my son if he didn't have it on his Switch. And then, I don't have it for 2 weeks. He's playing for 2 weeks and it comes back to me. Right. That's kind of neat. Like that is a really cool idea that I'm surprised Nintendo is on the forefront with, since they're very notorious about saying you can't,
I think they have to because digital. Of like Steam Deck,
Oh, it's great. Yeah.
PlayStation gave up on, they were trying to compete with the handheld stuff, like with
they tried
they were fine for a while, but they just didn't keep up with it. Steam Deck is pretty much the big competitor to the handheld device, at least.
I love mine, yeah.
And you can transfer games, between your systems. You can buy games to send people through Steam. So simple. So Nintendo had to do something, because Steam is now a big competition to, it's not just Xbox and PlayStation anymore. Right. Steam is a big thing for PC gaming.
Well, and you can set up family profiles too, where like your Steam account, and if you like say like you and I wanted to be on the same like family thing, I can say, hey, this is someone that I trust, and you can have access to my library.
Right.
Which means if I'm not playing the game at that moment and you want to download and play it, you can. So like you can share purchases. Like that's such a great thing to do.
Well, we all know it's all about the game and how you play it. Travis is saying there, my kids and I sharing is exactly what I'm talking about with the cartridges. I'm not buying everybody a copy of the same game. Yeah, that was the problem. If you have 2 kids at minimum, say you have 4 and they all have Switches, whatever, you're buying 4 of the same fucking game.
Right.
That's a problem. Back when it used to be, we have an Xbox in the den. You
take
can
turns.
Go. You all take turns playing and doing what you do.
I don't want to hear any fighting in there.
Not everyone
needs a drink.
Now they do. Everyone needs their own Xbox, because the way the games are designed, you play online with people, so you need to have your own system in order to do all of that. Sleepy Hollow, going back to the GameStop stuff, said pathetic, at least managed to keep your site alive. Yeah, right. Look, there's things about crashing is one thing, but when you're so far broken that like
the site wouldn't work, like not even just like the
went to sleep.
Purchasing,
the people who handle the stuff were sleeping. They weren't even bothering. It's like all hands are on deck. The Switch is coming out. This is going to tank everybody's website. Even Target, Walmart, Amazon, that have amazing infrastructure for their websites, were having issues. Their whole site didn't crash. You couldn't purchase the one thing, but I could still go and buy other stuff through Amazon and Target, what have you. GameStop completely shit the bed. The guy went to bed and woke up to no job the next day because of how that felt. How that fell through. Big Red Tower saying they might do it on purpose, involving the price increases, so more people talk about the release.
Maybe back in the day, no, but I think Nintendo's big enough now.
This time around, Nintendo is following in Apple's footprints. Like the fact that they had to change the SD card just so that you couldn't use a generic or a universal SD size card to put in there. You had to buy this specifically for this. That's an Apple move. Increasing the price and saying, well, screw it, then don't buy it. We're making games $80. That's an Apple move. So Nintendo has kind of always been that way, but never publicly about it. They weren't flaunting it. It's like Nintendo's very conservative. They don't bring a lot of stuff to the forefront. They don't like to share between generations. That's just how now they see that Apple will come out with a new charging cord, a new plug, a new whatever, each time there's another generation or two of technology that comes out, just because they can, and they'll just make you buy everything all over again. Nintendo's following suit for all of that stuff. So there you go. And you know what? You started this whole thing off with blaming Brian Shea.
Yeah. And
I blame Brian Shea for a lot of stuff too. I wrote to him today and I said, do you know there is a wrestler that looks like you? And he said, what? And I sent him the link to this.
His name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
You know who Joe Hendry is?
AEW?
No. He's the world champion for TNA.
TNA
Impact Wrestling. He's their big head, guy for the franchise. One of the most popular wrestlers they have and have had.
Look at that, dude.
Right?
Good for him. Scottish guy, I believe.
Yes, exactly. Purposely made this song in the video to seem a little cheesy, but it's so well programmed.
I love it.
You get the audience to do the waving thing.
Yeah, I was going to say, during WrestleMania, I saw people doing that. Like, people know the guy. Like, it's crazy.
He's not a WWE talent. But
but everybody knew. Like, everyone was into it.
That's how over this guy is with all of this stuff. The last year or two, WWE's had this agreement with TNA where they're sharing talent back and forth between NXT and WWE, and then people going over to TNA. So this guy,
it's like a dating profile.
Yeah, but this guy is huge, right? For the gimmick, for the look and whatever. I sent this to Brian Shea and I said,
that's exactly Brian's face.
He has this thing where he stands there and then he does this spin move and looks dead onto the camera and then doesn't move. I said, you need to do this.
I hope he does.
I wish he would color his hair this way. I don't think he will. But I said, if you're smart and you're doing publicity stuff, this guy is hot right now. And once his TNA contract's up, he's going to WWE. He'll be even bigger.
Oh, he had a huge pop during WrestleMania.
Huge. And I'll show you that in a second. I said, Brian, get on this because he has that similar smile facial expression that you do.
He does.
And
just
Brian,
give him taller, blacker hair, and this is
Brian P. Shea on all the social media stuff, Blue Sky, Instagram, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Game Informer. He's one of the heads of Game Informer. I said, Brian, this guy is big. He's going to be huge within the next year to 2 years. Get on this now.
Yeah.
Do this thing. And he's like, I don't know. I said, no, I'm forcing him to adopt this. Brian loves taking photos of his outfits, of his food, of him smiling in different places all the time. This is not out of the ordinary for him to adapt to his online persona. So I believe in Joe Hendry.
I believe in Brian Shea.
I believe in Brian Shea that this is going to happen. Now, as you said, Joe Hendry showed up at WrestleMania, and I'm going to show you that in a second. They brought him out as one of the surprise entrants for the Royal Rumble back in January. Okay. He got a huge pop. He's done a couple of things here and there with NXT. When he showed up in there, the NXT, which is like the minor league that WWE owns for talent development, got a huge pop there. Yeah, look at that.
It's exactly the same photo.
It's exactly that.
Oh, so funny. So funny, Brian. God.
Came out to a huge pop. Came out to Royal Rumble. Huge pop. Randy Orton was going to WrestleMania, was supposed to wrestle Rey Mysterio, but Rey Mysterio actually got hurt, so he had to be taken off the card. So they didn't have anybody for it, and they were building up for the last 3 weeks up there that he was fighting with the general manager of SmackDown. Nick Aldis is the guy's name. He was a former wrestler, TNA talent, that has been the producer, and he's the general manager of SmackDown for the last few years. Gotcha. So he was building up a fight where he was fighting, arguing with this guy. They thought Nick was going to come out of retirement and do a special match with Randy Orton for WrestleMania, which would have been fantastic. Right. But then, like the week leading into it, it was tipping the hand, saying, Nick's not doing this. We'll have to figure out who's going to show up there. And he issued an open challenge or whatever. So there was all these people that were speculating who would come back to the WWE to fight Randy Orton. Who's going to step up? Is this going to be is he going to interfere with Cena's match later in the night? That kind of stuff. So he's sitting there waiting, and they do the right thing. They're not doing television waiting where they go, I'm in the middle of a speech and then the music hits. He sits there and like, bring out whoever's going to be.
Yeah, he's literally like, okay, he doesn't even know. He's like, hey,
this is beyond what they call a pregnant pause. They're doing multiple aerial camera angles, showing the crowd, looking at the stage. Randy's pacing back and forth in the ring. It's going through all of this stuff. They make you wait, I think, almost a minute, which is an eternity for a live event and for television. But they should have done this. Because when the reveal happened, well, you'll see. Take a look at this.
Like, listen to that crowd.
This is almost 70,000 people.
Yeah, like 69.
Freaking out.
I had no idea who this guy was.
Oh, hold on. I got to see the pose again.
I love it.
That spin thing. I don't know why that makes me so happy. It just does.
Because he knows exactly where the camera's going to be. So he's like, he just immediately gives that eye contact and he just pauses. Like, that's it.
Yeah. So everybody, there's wrestling fans online. There's like, oh, he's just a face and a gimmick. He sucks. There's always those people, but there's never been more people saying, I don't care what he does. I just like when he shows up. This is almost like Fandango level.
Yeah, that's who I would have compared it to.
Where Fandango, that music would hit, the crowd's doing this. They're going crazy. He would come out.
He's got a gimmick.
He would get pissed that the ring announcer couldn't say his name right. Whoever his opponent didn't say his name right, get offended, and then he would leave. And that gimmick was fantastic for almost a year. Fandango would walk off and never wrestle. Like, he was forever until he actually wrestled a match. People loved that shit.
Right.
So this is almost in the same vein there. He just shows up and does this spin move, and everyone's like, all these guys are turning into like the girls seeing the Beatles for the first time. The guys' hearts are aflutter. Hats are flying off. Eyes are giant hearts pulsing like a cartoon wolf. It's fantastic. Spin, zoom right in. He stares right there with a smile. Everyone loves it.
He's like, hey, everybody.
Randy
doesn't even talk, doesn't cut a promo, doesn't say one word to the crowd. He walks up, does his bit, and people are going nuts.
This is almost
like there's not a boo in there.
People. Look how big. This is the stadium in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, where
the Vegas Raiders play.
Mm-hmm.
They're all. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, they're all going crazy. Like, it wasn't even like something where it's like someone comes out that they didn't want to see, so they boo it. Like, what a dumb decision. No, everybody's in on this bit. Everybody.
Yeah. Not a boo anywhere.
No. Everybody's 100% on Joe Hendry.
Well, look at that.
Their turn.
He took NXT late last year, as I mentioned.
He's got everything down. He's got the crowd knowing the movement. He's doing it with them. He's like he's teaching the crowd how to do.
Yes.
Celebrate his character, and they all know it. So crazy. They're loving him, and he goes. Here we go. This is almost this part here in the middle of the ring is like when there's a certain part of John Cena's song when he goes. set him up for a 3-second stance or something, I think is the lyric. And at that point, 3 seconds, he turns around. Cena turns around, spins to the TV camera with his hands up like that. It's the same all the time. Or that part of Triple H's thing where he goes, dun, 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 and then he spits the water out. It's always at the same point. Yeah, everybody knows how it goes. This is in that same vein, which is fantastic. Like, he gets everybody in on this thing.
Owens, it is now going to be redirected at Joe Hendry, who may well have just signed his own death warrant.
Spinned again.
And I love how they do the zoom in too.
Yeah. It's all
so
perfectly coordinated. Everybody loves it.
I didn't know the guy, but I really, his entrance and him just coming in actually like got me interested in the match. Like, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
this guy's
it was
pretty cool.
Fun, like, a lot of WrestleMania was kind of meh, but that was a fun moment. It was enjoyable. I think he looks exactly like Brian Shea, or Brian Shea looks like him. So we need to force that narrative. At Brian P. Shea on social media, find him and tell him that he needs to believe in Joe Hendry and look like that. Maybe we can Photoshop Brian's photo. Color his hair white.
I'll just change his hair to like bleach blonde.
Yeah. Do that and send that over. I'll make some other stuff with it. It's a lot of fun. Now they wrestled for a few minutes. Randy Orton won because he's the top talent at WWE at the top event for them. You're not going to have an outside, no matter what the agreement is, you're not going to have the champion of another company win that kind of thing right now.
It was entertaining.
A lot of the TNA fans or wrestling marks online were all saying it's like this is embarrassing and it doesn't help their brand that you have their champion come out and get squashed like that. It's like, it wasn't the thing. It was the next day. Joe Hendry was on Busted Open with SiriusXM.
Okay.
And John Cena was on Pat McAfee's show.
Yeah, I know he was on McAfee.
And they all were talking about Joe Hendry's appearance and what have you. And Cena had said, he's like, I saw him at the Royal Rumble. He's like, I told him what he needed to do, and that's how he should know what he should do. And Joe went out and did it. And after WrestleMania, John had just won the championship, walked over to Joe and said, I told you what to do at Royal Rumble. And he goes, and you came out great at WrestleMania. I told you this would make you a big star, and you're doing it. And he goes, last night was an introduction to Joe Hendry. The audience for TNA, a lot of them were happy he was there. A lot of people weren't because he lost. But the add-on to it where Randy Orton was trying not to laugh through the whole match because of the way the crowd was reacting to this guy. Randy was having fun, imitated his spin thing, but did his own, that pose that he does with it, made it his, stole the guy's thing in front of him, then was still laughing the whole time, leaned over, tapped him on the chest, like, good job, and then left.
Yeah.
Joe said, and he's like, that tap is like an insider thing with there. That means you're one of us. We accept you. Yeah. You're here. And that only goes to show that WWE wants him when his TNA contract's done. They're going to scoop him right up.
He'll come over. Yeah.
And he's already ready to go. He's packaged. He's imaged. That thing is, it's the great gimmick, a great gimmick to just let him go. They don't have to build him. They don't have to do anything. They'll develop him over time into his next level. But to start him off with that pop and that attention for everything, his shirt, he has a shirt for WrestleMania and he doesn't even work at that company.
Right. I was going to say, it's not even his thing.
It was one of their top sellers.
I loved in the match toward the end where Orton was kind of off camera and I think he was down on the mat. Hendry does his little spin move and he's just doing his pose. And I'm like, man, this guy's just going to keep posing the whole time. And then out of nowhere, RKO.
Yeah, just set him up for the
got
RKO.
Him out. It was perfect.
Because you had, it's what they say when you have two faces facing off, the crowd doesn't know who to go for because they like them both.
Yeah.
But in this thing, they love Joe Hendry, but Randy hitting with the RKO, they love that even more. So they're laughing at that. And then Randy does his version of Joe's gimmick with his own pose. The crowd's going even crazier. Like, this is amazing that this is even happening. They got from what I read online, because they went to the next vignette, and you didn't see when he left the ring. The crowd was still yelling and gave him a standing ovation as Joe Hendry left. Randy had already left. Yeah. This is a visitor from another company that just got his ass kicked in the ring there, got a standing ovation from that crowd as he left. So he won him over. Cracker, he's money, dude, when he comes in to WrestleMania.
Yeah, it was a very entertaining match. I got to say, some of the other ones were very lackluster.
Right.
I think the main event on night 2 was boring. I think the Roman Reigns one was fine. But yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
That Joe Hendry one was good, though. I like that one.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, we've got segment 2, because we didn't do that last week. So we have a lot of stuff from last week to tell you about, and then a bunch of stuff from this week to tell you about. There's a lot going on, and we will do that
next. It's Erik Nagel. Follow the show on all social medias at It's Erik Nagel for ways to watch or listen to the show, both live and on demand. Go to itseriknagel.com.
Hey, it's Charlie Cox. You're listening to It's Erik Nagel.
Segment 2 of the show. Erik, Jordan here with you, talking about television, movies, streaming updates, all the things that are going on in the world of entertainment that maybe you should be paying attention to, and also maybe what you should be avoiding. We usually start off this segment by going around the room talking about things that we have watched. Jordan, what have you watched?
Like we finished with segment 1, I did watch WrestleMania this weekend. I am not a huge, I wouldn't say wrestling fan. I don't do it weekly. I follow along, but not like religiously. But WrestleMania, I mean, that's a big thing. You gotta be a part of WrestleMania. So I watched that this weekend. Pretty good performance. I watched it through Peacock. Such an easy thing to do, just right there. It's such a great thing. I love it. The cock. I thought night 1 was better than night 2. But I had a good time watching it. The boy, I had the kid with me. He was watching it, and I sent you a picture. I caught a good shot of him. I think it was during it was like a triple match, and something happened, and just the excitement on his face to watch this play out. I caught him right as he turned, like a Phil Hendry bit, and got him, and it was good. So it was fun to watch him kind of get into it.
Phil Hendry bit.
Yeah. And then I did watch Daredevil's last 2 episodes, 8 and 9, finished up that first.
I did that as well.
I enjoyed the first season. I liked having it back. It did follow the same kind of pattern as that first Netflix series, that first season, where it's like you got to start off, things are going on. It's slow build up. That last episode I thought was really fun. It definitely sets up for a good season 2, which they are filming and will be out next March. I thought it got way more violent than I thought Disney was going to allow, especially in that last episode with the Punisher and stuff like that. But I definitely enjoyed it. So I can't wait for more of that. I did watch the first episode of both The Last of Us Season 2, and I did watch the first episode of Black Mirror with Rashida Jones, I believe.
You saw the whole first episode?
Whole first episode where, yeah. And it reminded me when you were talking about AMC and having to upgrade and do all this shit. And it reminded me of that scene where it's like, hey, she kind of shut down, it's because you don't have so-and-so plus. And, we have to do, it's like, oh my God, they're all nickel-and-diming us.
That was obviously mocking like phone plans.
Just all of
plans, like Spotify and Apple Music and what have you. That first episode,
it's depressing,
of season 7 is probably one of the most depressing things that I've ever seen on television. Yeah. Like at the end, you sat there and I go, "Oh my God, this is so terrible."
I know,
but not unrealistic either.
No, not at all. And that's the beauty of Black Mirror, is that it skirts that line of ridiculousness and reality, where it's like that can't. Well, it could happen. Like that is so close to being a thing for people. And it's just like, oh my God. Could you imagine, say a deaf person gets one of those cochlear implants. Like they're like, you can hear 90%, but if you pay the extra subscription, we'll bump it up and you can hear more.
Yeah.
Or things like, you know what I mean? Like you get all these things that are all connected and Wi-Fi and all technologically advanced. But now you have a subscription service and now you have to add more of this. And it's like,
it's
crazy.
Relook this up there. There's 7 episodes for season 7 here. I just finished the 7th episode, and the 7th episode was a part 2 to that Star Trek video game episode they had in the last season with the USS Callister. So it's a continuation on that,
which is interesting since they've never really done a continuing story.
It was good. It was really good. There's a couple other episodes. There's one that I thought was kind of a dud. But everything, the season overall, I would give an A.
I feel like every season there's always that one where you're like, yeah, it was good, but everything else was so good that this was pales in comparison. I think the last season for me was that Demon 79 one where it was just like, it was okay.
Yeah, I forgot all about that one.
That's the problem. It's like, I just forget completely that one exists. But then you had the two astronauts that would like switch consciousness on the planet. And that one was such a good episode that Demon 79 was just like, it was good, but not the best.
They're not all
that, and that's, how they, most of them are. So, but yeah, I'll finish that one up. Watch wise, no, but I have been listening to some new stuff. I know the band Magnolia Park just put out a new album called Vamp. That's not been bad. I need to keep digging into that one. I don't know if you know about the band called the Mars Volta. About a week,
a long time.
They've kind of been quiet, haven't really been doing much. They decided they were on the Deftones tour for a little bit this past couple months. They just all of a sudden dropped a new album. Didn't tell anybody about it. Said, "Hey, guess what?" I
love when bands do that. I think and then, like Less Than Jake did that a while ago. All of a sudden, there was a brand new album. Like, oh, had no idea. That's fun. Yeah.
So they just put out a new album, very jazzy, very experimental, a little bit different sound than I'm normally used to with them, but it's actually pretty good. It's called Lucro Sucio Los Ojos del Vacío.
God bless you.
Yeah, I know. Speaking of another person I didn't think would have a new album out, you've heard of Bootsy Collins?
Yeah.
Old Funk. New album came out. It's called Album of the Year #1 Funketeer. A coworker of mine, big into funk music and Parliament, all that stuff, said, "Hey, check this out."
What other group was Bootsy from? Do you know?
Oh God, I don't remember.
They had a big hit in the late 80s, early 90s, or early 90s, actually.
Who was
D-Light, Groove is in the Heart.
Was he with D-Light?
Yeah,
I remember D-Light.
Wait, was it Bootsy? Wasn't Bootsy the?
I don't know.
The guy was. I'm gonna look that up. But
yeah, please do.
What you were saying.
So yeah, he's got a new album. He's got a lot of collaboration. He's got a song with Ice Cube that I thought was really good. He did stuff with Snoop on there. He's got like a lot of collaborations throughout. It's actually a really interesting and enjoyable like funk album. Like, and you don't get a lot of those nowadays. Like, you don't think, oh, I'm getting the newest Bootsy Collins or newest funk album. So that was good. And then the last thing that just dropped the other day that I'm listening to,
he was in the song. He wasn't in the band, but he was with. Gotcha. He recorded with them for "Groove Is in the Heart."
Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense. I'm sitting there going, I didn't know he was with the band. Marilyn Manson did a cover of "In the Air Tonight" by Phil Collins, and it's really good. Like really good.
Enough with
annoyingly good.
Manson.
I know, but the problem with Marilyn Manson is a lot of his covers have actually been very enjoyable. Like he's done.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Which one? What did you find out?
No, I was just closing out of the D-Light thing, but yeah, because I knew Bootsy was doing the bass line and some guest vocals. And then like he would go like, "Sing it, baby," like that. He had those little back out shouts. Yeah, the rap breakdown in there, I thought was one of the guys from D-Light. It was Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, that's cool.
I never knew that until just now.
Interesting.
Look at me learning things. Go ahead.
So yeah, so he's got that cover. It's actually pretty good. It's like a little EP, so it's like 2 songs. But yeah, I would say the thing that surprised me the most was the Bootsy Collins album. Like very, very enjoyable.
All right.
Yeah.
For me, I watched take the Brian Shea photo out of the thing here, please, if you could.
You're like, I want to click on it.
It's not letting me remove. No, I have to. No, I don't want to click on it.
I'm trying to remove it.
Please.
There we go. Remove.
I finished Daredevil. I finished all of season 7 of Black Mirror.
Okay.
I watched Tim Dillon's new stand-up special, I'm Your Mother.
Is it good? I have it on my list. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet.
I love Tim Dillon, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I caught up on Doctor Who's new season.
Oh, that's been out like a week, 2 weeks?
This is a week. 3rd week. So the new episode's dropping as we're doing this recording.
Thursday, okay.
He cannot stop crying for the life of him. He just comes off as a bitch every time.
Like, are the stories serviceable and he's just annoying and it's hard to watch, or is it just kind of like
he's not good as the Doctor? Because you don't buy him as being a personality of the Doctor. Every time the Doctor regenerates, it was a device used so they could replace the actor and keep the show going, right?
Right.
Then it developed into everything that it is now. But each time you had a doctor come in, there was some sort of personality trait that identified him as being the doctor. The doctor usually has a role of being a brotherly figure to the companions, a sort of romantic for the companions or somebody, but it's not a will they won't leave thing. It's usually like they have a crush on the doctor and he's kind of flirty, but he never goes.
That was Rose,
right?
Yeah.
There was he was married at one point, so he had that, but even that was kind of like an estranged thing. He's the grumpy old father or grandfather kind of role. Like he has different levels
personalities
of his personality. There's nothing in this one here. This doctor is overly emotional, cries at the drop of a hat, calls everybody honey sweetie, is flamboyantly gay. In here, they made
not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there is in this story because the doctor shouldn't be this thing, and they say it's a fictitious alien. Why does that matter? Why does it matter that you have to change what the existing storyline was for 60 years that people loved? That you had to do all this shit. But I've had these rants before. I don't need to go into it again.
just go to Eric's Twitter or Instagram. I'm sure you'll catch up.
Yeah, I want to show you this. So look at this. This is from the first episode. All right. So this companion meets the doctor and he was already helping some other people on this other planet. And the person he was helping, he turned the other way, got shot and died.
Which, by the way, second season in Disney, already a whole new companion, which is kind of already annoying to think about.
Take a look at this here. Okay. So look, he walks away from here after the other girl died. He stands there. Now I zoomed in on this. He just look how long this shot is. He stands there crying. He can't fathom anything anymore. He stands there crying. He's going to do the closed eyes. I can't handle this. He's always on the cusp of a mental breakdown. He's an emotional bitch. This guy playing
like
the
daytime
doctor.
soap acting, where like you walk off, you're fully in frame, and then the one tear comes down, and you're like,
yeah. This is all he does. Like he'll sit there and he'll have his moments and he runs around all flamboyantly, whatever. He wears denim kilts now that are lower than knee level. They're almost down.
So they're dresses.
They're dresses. But if you call it a dress, people online of the, from the alternate communities, all give you shit that you're a homophobe or you're racist or any of this thing. If you don't like the doctor and the way it's being portrayed or whatever, you're the problem. This show is not for you anymore. You need to stop watching it and leave. You don't just walk into somebody's house and say, we live here now, beat it, after like 60 years. But that's what these people do. He cries all the fucking time. We have a video up on the channel. You can go watch it where it's called Doctor Who Fans Are Insane or something like that. Where we did the whole thing explaining the first season with this guy and how he cried and all the fucking problems with him. So second episode comes around last week, and I'll give you this. The story was good. He didn't need to be the doctor for the story. Like anyone could have been the doctor in this story, but the story felt like a Doctor Who story. It felt like it belonged in the canon of everything. It was a one-off kind of thing. Didn't tie into other things coming down the line. It was a one-off thing. The past season and this season, they're doing less science fiction and more fantasy. So he's been fighting gods now. So all of those specials, when he led to the Toy Master with Neil Patrick Harris and everything, that was a god on the fringe of the universe that are trying to destroy reality in the universe and all this other shit. That's where they had the fucking bi-separation, the bi-generation, where they were attached at the dick at one point, looking at each other. And of course they pull off, and this new doctor is in no shirt, tighty whities and socks. Meanwhile, David Tennant's version of the doctor is still
always in the slim, ill-fitting suit.
In the suit with the sneakers and everything, but the tie's missing because now the guy with no shirt is wearing a tie and tighty whities because gay eye candy is what this show is about now. And then there was other gods within the last season that he was dealing with. The one about meeting the Beatles, and then this god comes in and erasing music and from existence and all that stuff. That story was good too. Wasn't even a problem that they hired some famous British drag queen to be the villainous god in this story.
I remember. Yeah, I remember that one.
Wasn't a problem. Had no problem with that. The doctor still was the issue for being a bitch and being awkward in the whole thing. Like, he's the wrong doctor for that story. This story from last week, great story. He didn't need to be the current doctor. It could have been any doctor. Was a good story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, are there stories that where you see that he fits as the doctor, or he just at this point?
I don't think he fits as the doctor at all.
Okay.
No, because one story in last season was it seemed to be a story about people being in so entrenched in the world of online activity and social media that these creatures came to the planet, and because everybody's in essentially these bubbles that they would wear, like an electronic bubble that you could do all your
like VR.
streaming, almost like VR, but you don't see the creatures in the real world that were eating these people. So people were just disappearing offline, and they're like, why did he log off? We don't know what happened. They were dying in real life because these creatures everyone's just standing in a room or in the street or whatever, not moving, not seeing anything outside of the bubble, and these creatures are just coming and eating people, right?
Interesting.
But so you think it's about that storyline and getting over, stop being so entrenched online. But towards the end, he's trying to rescue this one girl, pale blonde girl, blue eyes and everything, tries to get her to leave this area, and she meets up with this other little refugee group that turned out to be other friends that she had online that were all trying to flee this area. Then you started to see the theme. Oh, they're all blonde, they're all white, they're all Aryan looking. She chose to go with them instead of going to safety with the doctor because he's still a black guy. And I went, oh, at the last minute, now it's about everyone's racist instead of the whole thing about technology. It felt like a Black Mirror episode doing Doctor Who. Right. And then quickly pivoted to, well, if you don't like the doctor, you're racist. And that was like the end of the episode. And you're like, oh, fuck you with all of this, right? I watched this new episode. It's fine. They show the teaser for this week's episode. I have the teaser here. Take a look at this, okay?
Yep. He's still crying.
No, oh wait, that one didn't leave. What happened? Try it again. Here we go. So next time right here, it's just showing little blips.
Yeah, quick cuts.
And it's like pulsing because something's down this well at this mining facility. So that's what this next episode's about, right? So it's blinging out here. Look.
Oh, God, he's crying again.
And this was the longest shot that they kept.
They really liked him crying. Okay.
It's just him looking shocked.
Like shocked or upset. Yeah.
And look, tear rolling down. He's crying again.
Do you think that this was like his one claim to fame in whatever show he was in? Like he could cry on cue, so they have to use it as like part of his
the only other
his contract?
Show anybody knows this guy from was a show called, I think it's just called Sex. It's on
Sex
Netflix.
Or like Sex Education or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Something like that. It's on it's a Netflix show, but I guess it's produced, shot in England. It's all British actors. And he's known from that show, and apparently him and the way he does his character over there was critically acclaimed. Like people love this show. They loved his character over there. And then they bring him over and make him the doctor. So now he's checking a lot of boxes for all of this stuff here, right? All he does is fucking cry, and he can't figure out how to do anything, and everything is so emotional. And I post all the time, like, this bitch is crying again. And
this
people
kid
just
is back
go,
on the escalator
he's
again.
dealing with emotional trauma. That's what the whole bi-generation thing was for all these years. He's now dealing with the fact that his planet's gone, his race of people died. It's like he had 60 years or thousands of years or whatever of this, and now he's finally separated. The other ones, David Tennant still exists in this world. They just don't show him anymore. He's essentially retired as the doctor. There's still another doctor. He's on Earth living a different life with a family now. And he's tired. He's worn out. He's tired of running around the universe and what have you. His story is done. This version of the doctor is now dealing with his emotions and his trauma and everything he had to deal with. He didn't know how to deal with before. Now it's all coming out and everyone's championing this. I'm fucking tired of everyone thinking, well, you need to do, mental health in a lot of ways. Yeah, mental health is important. You got to deal with some of the things. A lot of ways, you're all fucking cosplaying this stuff. And you see it in the media. Nothing seems genuine when you're watching it in a television show or in a movie about they're dealing with real issues this isn't a real issue. Everything else I complain about, or everyone else, the entire fan base complains about, you keep saying it's made up, it's fictitious. Why can't he be this? Why can't they do that? Okay, stop with the mental trauma. That's real. That's emotional. That's a real thing. You can't make fun of that. No, it's made up bullshit, just like the rest of this is all made up bullshit, like you said. But I sat there, and I think I told you this. I'm watching this thing, and I'm working on something. This thing comes out. I hucked my mouse into my monitor, and I yelled, "He's fucking crying again!"
Yeah, I saw your post immediately. I'm like, "Oh no!"
And I was like, "Why did I throw my mouse? That was stupid on my part." But I got so over emotional for the fact that this guy is faking being over emotional, and there it is in the trailer. He's crying again. Maybe that could be the name of the episode.
He's crying again.
I'm going to write that down. But
yeah it's just, I don't know. I feel like this version of the Doctor is not long for the world. Like, we're not going to see
he's
much
done
more from him.
So they shot the specials and the 2 seasons back to back to back because Disney hopped on board. BBC was teetering on canceling the whole series because BBC's publicly funded and they didn't want it or didn't have the money to spend on it anymore. Yeah. So they brought Disney in, and Disney got full international streaming rights, and everything outside of the UK Disney owns with Doctor Who.
Right.
Well, their deal is up because this season was recorded and done. So now it's airing. Once the airing is done, there's no renewal notice right now. The showrunner, who everyone thought was going to bring, because he was the original showrunner, he was coming back.
He was going to do great.
He was going to save the show after the previous showrunner tanked the show. And he made it even worse.
Chibnall.
Right? Chibnall. Chris Chibnall. And now Russell Davies is back, and he made it even worse than Chibnall did.
Which is really crazy.
Right. And he kept saying, no, I'm done. We don't have any other plans. We don't know. The Disney thing's done. And now he's teasing. He's like, well, I still have plenty more ideas. And everyone's yelling, we don't want your ideas.
Right. No.
Here.
Something else, please.
Stop with this shit. All right. We need to move on here. The show's going late again. And, we need to slow this down. Out right now for your viewing pleasure in theaters, The Accountant 2, which is the Ben Affleck sequel. Right? Yeah,
I guess the first movie is really good. Like, I saw it on Max. I was gonna watch it.
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, this is a sequel to that one. Surprising.
Until Dawn. What is that?
Until Dawn is a video game movie that the video game itself is one of those ones where you your choices dictate how the video game goes. It's really fun. And they did a sequel to it, a semi-sequel to it, and now they made a movie about it by, I think, the director of the Shazam movies, which is very weird.
Okay.
But it looks interesting.
Star Wars Episode 3 is going back into the theaters. I liked that one.
I like Episode 3, yeah.
The volcano scene, very fun. And then Cheech and Chong's last movie going back into theaters.
No, this is a new movie.
Wasn't their last movie called The Last Movie?
No, this is their last movie. It's like I think it's like a documentary or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they released it on 4/20. So.
Oh, this is called Last Movie. What was the other last movie?
Oh, I don't know.
Hold on, I'll tell you what it is. Next movie. Okay, so this is the final movie. I don't know how they pull this off.
It's Cheech and Chong's next movie, Cheech and Chong's last movie, and then the next one is Cheech and Chong's movie after next, if they're following all the Friday movies.
Fair enough. So what do they own, dispensaries now? Like they were on the forefront of
I don't know. I didn't see anything local that was playing it, so I want to try to find out if I can
Did they find out that they accidentally created vaping? Someone stole the idea and now they're entitled to the rights to owning the vaping copyright?
I don't know. That'd be kind of funny.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. I'll wait for streaming for that. On Max, which looks like HBO, but Max, Companion, The Last of Us, season 2 is up there. Episode 2 is out. I haven't watched any of them.
Yeah, they release every Sunday.
I saw I saw an article yesterday about the girl.
Potato Face?
Yeah. that she announced that she deleted all her social media. She said, I didn't need this. I didn't want it to begin with. I wanted to delete it a while ago, but now that because everyone is telling her how terrible she is,
she's the worst.
And now they're making fun of her head and her autism and whatever, and her they identification.
They thems.
She's just getting it from all sides, so she deleted all.
Yeah,
of her
it's
media.
pretty much.
And there was something in the article that said something like she worked really hard to developing this character, and she was looking at the source material from the video games and seeing how that character looked and identified, and then and realizes like I don't look like that and I don't identify like that, and then the internet doesn't fail to remind me that I don't resemble that character, so she deleted social media. Yeah, when you have a beloved property, a beloved franchise, and you're not the right casting for it, and they keep telling you you're the wrong person for this thing, like they did with Rachel Ziegler, but Rachel had it coming too. She caused her own problems. This kind of stuff happens.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully this wakes up a lot of the movie companies going, hey, this is too powerful to ignore that you
it's not. God, this is one of those things where it's like, I'm not racist, but
yeah.
They cast a black guy as Professor Snape in the TV adaptation of the Harry Potter series for Max. So no one's understanding source material. No one's understanding a fan base, and no one's understanding that this is not the right casting. So no one understands that. They'll just keep doing what they think they are doing to be edgy, and that's what they'll do. Right. And things will start to fail. And I'm getting real tired. Like I haven't watched episode 2 of The Last of Us right now. But I don't have to, because 10 minutes after it premiered on HBO, people were posting spoilers on every social media site. Every picture of what happened, everything that would happen, every plot twist. And I've played the video game. I know what's going to happen in a lot of this shit.
I
haven't,
in
your fucking pants.
You told me about that stuff. I saw people were posting online when this stuff was trending that people, and you see a lot of the clickbait headlines on Facebook and Instagram from all the usual places, Screen Rant, Nerdist, what have you. They're like,
Nerdist used to be bad about that.
People are not dealing well with the shocking death in the game, and it's like, it wasn't it's only shocking if you never played the game,
right?
But because the game has been out for so long before the series did, everybody was talking about, well, in season 2 this happens,
right?
Because that's what happens in the second game. So these posts were coming out, and after that episode, when did it air? Sunday. Yeah, so Easter. Monday, when these posts were coming out, and there was one site, and I go, wait till it happens to her next. And you would have thought I spoiled everything for everybody. I was like, nope, if you played the game, that's what's coming. She's good next to go. And then we don't have to, it's like killing off Coral.
Coral.
In Walking Dead. But anyway, moving on. Disney Plus, Andor season 2 is finally out. Here's what I didn't know until the other day. They're releasing 3 episodes at a time. And I had to look at this and go, why are they doing that? That's ridiculous. Turns out each episode's like what, an hour long? Half hour long?
Hour long. Yep.
So 3 episodes at a time are giving you essentially a movie. As they're now jumping the story ahead a year each. So we're at where we're at right now for these 3 episodes. Next week, with the next 3 episodes, a year has passed. And this is all leading up to this season ending where Rogue One takes over the movie. So once I read it, that's how the whole format is for all this stuff. I'm like, oh, that's actually a clever idea.
Originally, they were supposed to do 5 seasons. They had signed up for 5 seasons, and then
people are getting tired of waiting forever for this stuff. Well, and it's been 3 years since Andor.
I was going to say, when we were talking about it last night, we couldn't remember when it came out. It turns out Andor season 1 came out, I think, in 2022.
Yeah. So, and that also reminded me of another article I read where the trending now of franchises taking too long.
Takes forever.
Put up there, people are getting not fatigued, they're just moving on.
Losing interest, aging out. There are 1,000 things that happen.
They talked to somebody, I should have had this article too, but they were talking to somebody where they said, well, people demand more realistic looking television instead of doing it in a studio or what have you. So it takes a while to get the locations, to build the sets and do whatever. So it takes a little time You can't turn it around as fast as you can of building a set and then having it in a TV studio like sitcoms and legal proceedings and all that stuff. Legal procedure shows used to have it where here's the courtroom, here's the police office, here's whatever.
Yeah.
So it takes a little time, but 3 years, 2 years, people aren't tolerating this anymore. And they said the biggest culprit, and it's probably going to have the most damaging results, is Stranger Things. Season 5.
I've lost all interest in that.
The kids are I think it's all done, but they can't even do reshoots because the kids outgrew the characters. They're all adults now. If you look at Millie Bobby Brown, she's doing fashion shows and like the usual route that a lot of celebrity women take, where they're doing
she has her own underwear line and
sexy ads for clothing, for perfume. They're doing fashion shows, doing all that stuff. She does not look like 11 anymore, right? So she's done Wolfhard, whatever his name is, Wolfenstein. You saw him in Ghostbusters. You saw him in a couple other things there. He's tall and gawky looking, but he looks like an adult. He's not a kid anymore. So by the time season 5 comes out for Stranger Things, people are either going to be like, well, fuck it. I'll watch it, but I don't care. Nobody's buying this shit anymore. Nobody cares. It's too long. This is what it started with The Sopranos doing that. It would take 2 years before a new season of The Sopranos would come out. Now it's fully ridiculous, and people are now saying no, viewership's down. People aren't subscribing to this. Yeah, they're tired of this stuff. Keep new things coming and overlap them, until you get to the round 2 of these things. But waiting 3 years for something.
I was going to say Stranger Things season 4 came out in May of 2022.
Yeah.
And this is the weird season where they were doing like a couple episodes and then they split the season. So you had to wait till July. And then that last episode was like 3 hours long. Like the way they structured it was very odd.
No one cares.
Yeah.
Moving on, videos on demand that you can go and rent: Captain America: Brave New World, The Working Man, The Woman in the Yard, and the Day the Earth Blew Up, which I want to see, which is the Looney Tunes movie. Got a lot of praise. Right. Next week, another crying Doctor Who episode on Disney Plus, but also on April 29th, episodes 4, 5, and 6 of season 2 of Andor. And like I said, Friday next week, May 2nd, Thunderbolts. And will be in the theater. And also the Alec Baldwin murder movie, Rust.
Right? Like, I'm surprised they're even going to attempt to put this in a theater.
Yeah.
With all some publicity behind it. So
that is that will be available. And let's blast through the news as fast as we can because we ran long again.
All right. Star Wars Celebration was this past weekend. The Pope tried to take away from it, but I'm not letting it stop me to talk about what's coming up in the Star Wars universe. Sean Levy, the director of Deadpool 3, was brought out on stage during Celebration and introduced Ryan Gosling, who's going to star in a new standalone movie called Star Wars Starfighter, set to release in May of 2027. That should be interesting. It takes place after episode 9, but it will be a standalone movie. So hopefully no Jedis and all that weird stuff. Pedro Pascal did join Dave Filoni on stage for The Mandalorian and Grogu, showed a lot of footage, and introduced Sigourney Weaver, going to be joining a Star Wars movie. Very interesting casting on that one. They were showing some pictures of her in a flight suit, looking like she was a pilot of an X-Wing. Kind of interesting. I'm excited for it. The problem is it was so... it just feels like The Mandalorian and Grogu shouldn't be a movie. It just should be another season of The Mandalorian. So we'll see what happens with that. It's coming out in May of 2026.
Chris Subdivisions in the chat say Ryan Gosling in Star Wars, Jared Leto and Tron. What effing world are we living in?
What a pretty science fiction world we live in. Ryan
Gosling also looks like Joe Hendry.
Right. Ahsoka. Season 2 updates came out. Baylan Skoll, the character Baylan Skoll, who was played by Ray Stevenson, who had sadly passed away, is being replaced by Rory McCann, who people will know as, I believe, the Mountain. The Hound, the Hound in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So he's replacing Ray Stevenson. Hayden Christensen has been confirmed to be returning in the role of Anakin Skywalker. Probably going to see a lot of flashback scenes and a lot of Clone Wars stuff, which should be interesting. Some ride news for all those on the East and West Coast. The Mandalorian and Grogu themed update to the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run is going to allow the engineers on that ride to actually take care of Grogu and change course of the actual ride to go to planets like Bespin, the Death Star wreckage above Endor, or a new Coruscant level. So a lot of that ride is really cool. You get 6 people controlling stuff, but the engineer is actually a very boring seat to be sitting in because there's really not a lot to do. Now they're going to actually make it to where they kind of guide where the ship goes. So that should be fun. That's at Disneyland on the West Coast and Disney World on the East Coast. They announced a new Star Wars Darth Maul Shadow Lord animated series. It's coming to Disney Plus in 2026. Sam Witwer will be reprising the voice of Darth Maul. He's been playing Darth Maul throughout Rebels and I believe Clone Wars. He's basically plotting to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. So should see some of that. And then in some more animated news, Volume 3 of Star Wars Visions, a series that I actually really, really enjoy, is going to be coming out this year, October 29th, 2025. They're getting a new spinoff as well of the next chapter of a story that they did in Volume 1 called The Ninth Jedi. Very, very cool.
What is that?
It's hard to describe. It's a very, you'd have to watch Visions. Like they did a series where like, it almost like Dueling Samurais. And it was really cool. So they're going to do a spinoff of that as well. So that's all your Star Wars news. A lot of little things here and there. Now, do we want to go into any of the Shannon Sharp stuff, or do we want to wait and see if we can?
We're going to see if Josh can come on next week.
All right,
we'll see where we're at
for now, then.
point. Yeah.
All right. Pacific Rim TV series from Legendary is actually moving to Amazon. It was originally supposed to be. I forget if they were going to go to a different provider, but Amazon got the rights to it. So Prime Video is going to be hosting a new Pacific Rim TV series. No word on what the plot details are going to be or when it's going to release, but it will be on Prime. Clueless, unfortunately, is getting a sequel series with Alicia Silverstone in development at Peacock. I guess she's going to be reprising her role as Cher Horowitz in the sequel at Peacock. The show is currently in development. Exact plot details are being kept under wraps. It's a follow-up to the film. They were going to do a Clueless series a while back where basically she was, it was described more of like a mystery series in which Cher disappeared and focused instead on her best friend Dion. But we can't do that because the
redhead. Not the
Stacey
redhead.
Dash, I believe.
Stacey Dash it was Dion. I thought it was the redhead that nobody gave a shit about.
Wasn't that Brittany Murphy? And didn't she die? Oh no, the redhead of that was really cunty.
Yeah, the one that had her nose broken all the time.
Yeah, she's annoying. So yeah, we're gonna do that.
Before you move on here, Chris in the chat saying, can we get a movie about the construction workers that perished during Jedi Star Wars Last Job? Wasn't that a Kevin Smith dialogue or something?
Yeah, it was in Clerks.
All right. I want to tell you something here, though. So our friends, the radio show Masters of None, long time ago, did a episode of the day the Death Star blew up, but they were the local morning radio show on the Death Star. So they're giving you local news and information about the ongoings with the Empire and the Death Star and everything. And then it cuts off almost like 9/11-ish kind of thing where all of a sudden the Death Star blows up. So if you want the link to that, it's a really great episode. Send me a message later. I'll send you the link.
I definitely want to do that one.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill's Highlander movie is leaving Lionsgate and is going to Amazon. Seems like Amazon's buying up all the properties.
Dade Murphy in the chat there. Thank you for watching on Twitch. Amber was the redhead on Clueless that can't have balls flying at her nose.
Right. Also, Dade Murphy, is that a Hackers reference? Because that would be cool.
I dated a girl in high school that lived Clueless. Like that was her favorite mistake. Thinks to this day is still her favorite movie. But she was everything about Cher and her lifestyle and everything. And needless to say, that relationship didn't last too long, but I remember going to the theaters with her to see that movie, and it was 95 that movie came out, right?
Yeah, I think so. Paul Rudd still looks the same. By the way, real quick, did you see Paul Rudd did an updated version of his old Super Nintendo commercial to promote the Switch 2?
No.
Yeah, he got the hair back. It was like that really dumb 90s cut.
Is it for the Tonight Show or
no? This was like a legit commercial Nintendo put out to.
No. The remake of it.
No, Nintendo put this out.
Oh, he did it again for Nintendo.
Yeah, Nintendo put it out as a.
Oh, okay.
We're redoing the old.
He does a lot of weird
bit.
shit with Fallon on the Tonight Show.
Yeah, no, this was a legit Nintendo made commercial.
We're going to talk about looking for Paul Rudd stuff. Look at him and Jimmy Fallon recreated the music video for King of Wishful Thinking.
Oh my God, it's one of my favorites.
I love
of
that.
all the bits. Like I like that one. That was a good one.
Fantastic. All right, go ahead.
Henry Cavill's doing a Highlander movie. It's been kind of shopped around a little bit. It's actually going to go to Amazon. It's been talked around for about a decade now. Chad Stahelski, who did John Wick, is going to be directing it. They're talking it possibly putting it in the theaters by the end of next year. So that'll be good. Netflix's Sandman Season 2 trailer premiered, and the premiere dates have been released. I can't wait for this, and it kind of bums me out that that's it for it. But they're going to be doing 2 launch dates. Netflix is splitting the seasons. Volume 1 is going to be 6 episodes. It's coming out July 3rd. And Volume 2 will have 5 episodes, and it's going to be premiering July 24th. That's it. We're not getting any more. There's no more movies. I think I don't think they're going to be working with Gaiman for anything anymore after all the stuff that kind of released on him. So,
which is so disappointing.
Really
I mean,
is.
one, in him being shitty like that, but 2, I waited forever for Sandman to finally get going, and I thought Sandman was going to come once was it Fox that announced Lucifer? Remember when they made the Lucifer show? And the pitch was that it's a spin-off of the Lucifer character from Neil Gaiman's Sandman, which DC had the rights to.
Right.
And so you're thinking, okay, based on the drawings that I remembered from the Sandman graphic novels, he was, that thin, petite, blonde, looked like Alucard in Castlevania, and they pulled the Fonzie on it, where now he was a British guy, kind of
nice
Italian or Mediterranean looking a little bit with the black slicked hair and everything. And like, that's not Lucifer, but that's what
I still like the show. Yeah,
I love the show. Got better when it went on Netflix after they got it off Fox, and it stopped being Law and Order Lucifer, and it became more of dealing with the occult and everything around him being the actual devil. But when that was coming around, I'm like, oh, this is going to open the gateway, because Lucifer was a big success when it first came out. That Sandman's going to come. So when they announced Sandman, is this Lucifer going to show up in the Sandman thing? Because people were pushing for that too. Or is Sandman going to show up in some way on the Lucifer property, and doesn't? And then they put all this out, and then the Neil Gaiman shit. So that kind of ruined Good Omens.
Yeah, I think I got one more episode. That was it. It was like a movie, like 90 minutes.
Well, they had the 2 seasons. Yeah, the third one coming, but
yeah. Well, it's not even a season. You're getting like one episode, and it's like 90 minutes long. It's like, that's it. And wrapping that up. It's like, oh, that sucks.
And it's not because it could be said, it's like, well, if they own the rights to his work, but he fucked up, it's like, then cut him from the project. You still have the rights to the work. Don't let the work and the art suffer because of, that guy being a scumbag. Yeah. And it's like, well, no, he didn't have any other work. He was there to create as they go and make changes to build more stuff on the fly. So they don't have anything to go on. They already used everything that they got. So they got to end it.
I know. It sucks. All right, moving on. Godzilla X Kong, a movie that came out, I think, last year, that we both, oddly enough, really enjoyed.
Godzilla, where he was all pink and had the
he was all pink.
All that.
They're adding Sam Neill to the next movie, so he's going to be joining the previous actors. He's going to be also joining the girl who plays Abby on The Last of Us, Caitlin Dever, Jack O'Connell, Dan Stevens. He's going to come back as the veterinarian, who actually I think I liked in the movie. It was kind of fun. But yeah, he's coming back. But Sam Neill's joining Godzilla X Kong, the sequel.
So they're going to try to bring in like the Jurassic Park feel to it.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, because you saw how Middle Earth, not Middle Earth, what were they calling it? It's essentially Middle Earth. It's in the center of the planet, but the middle realm thing where Godzilla and King Kong all live and everything looks like it's Jurassic Park. So maybe that's why they're bringing him in. And where's the other show? by the way. The one
it's
that was
coming.
on Apple.
It's coming. They're done filming, and they haven't released a release date yet. But that is coming. They wrapped filming up like 2 weeks ago. So that is coming, thankfully. And then we'll go ahead and end it with this one. This one's a little near and dear to our hearts. A Park and Rec's actor is taking over as Jimbo Jones on The Simpsons. Well, we know that Pamela Hayden retired, what was it, like 2-3 months back?
Yeah.
So Mo Collins is actually going to come and do the voice of Jimbo Jones. So they didn't say she's going to be voicing anybody else. And then Milhouse, I guess, will be getting a replacement later this year. But right now, she is only going to be Jimbo Jones. So that should be interesting. I like Mo Collins. I don't know.
This is it. This is what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just going to find...
No, but remember how it's like, we can't do the show without these people, the essential voice talent for all this stuff. Not that Pamela Hayden wasn't essential. She was, but she wasn't one of the main characters, right? So
no, she did a lot of the side characters. But if this works, they've had, Krabappel died. They got rid of Apu for a knee-jerk reaction. And they weren't doing some other characters anymore because I guess they just didn't want to or what have you. But if they're replacing Pamela and it works out fine, and they can do a decent replacement of Milhouse, so it sounds like exactly like this.
Everything's coming up, Milhouse.
If it sounds like that, then like if we can find someone who can do Homer, it's like replacing Jim Henson with Kermit the Frog. They kept it going. They're going to keep The Simpsons going then.
It's weird to me that of all the people, well, not even so much Mo Collins, like she's great. I've lived her in a lot of properties. But for her to come in just to do Jimbo Jones, a character that you could probably write off and it not even be anything, like it just feels weird. So yeah, so I don't know. It always bums me out when they do a voice replacement because it's never just right. But the problem is the show's been going on so long, a lot of the older actors aren't sounding the same either. Like you said, like we talked about, Marge doesn't sound like Marge anymore.
Right.
Kavner just she sounds rough. So if you can find something comparable, might as well do it. But we'll see.
All right. And that's it.
That's it.
All right. So time to wrap this up. We have to do the plugs. And as always, Jordan, our nation's eyes turn to you.
X, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube at Jinx Ronan. Catch me on Twitch at Jinx Ronan79. They just did a Oblivion, not Baldur's Gate, but Oblivion came out with a remaster. I'm going to start that up. I might start streaming that, so that'll be fun. If you've got Amazon and you want to take that subscription, get a free subscription over on Twitch for our show, go over to Twitch, find us. It's Erik Nagel. Use your little free subscription to give us a little bit of boost on our subscribers. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Helps us out. We'd appreciate it.
Alrighty. For me and for the show and everything else involved with this train wreck, it's Erik Nagel across the board, all social media platforms. If you're listening on the iHeartRadio app, do us a kindness, go over there and put our show in the #1 preset position. It means something to them, as so we're told each and every day. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, do us a kindness, go over there and leave us a positive review. It does help out the program. If you want to join us live each and every week as we do this program, you can come into the live rooms, throw your money around like the big spenders you are with super chats and bits and tits and all that other fun stuff. YouTube and on Twitch, all under It's Erik Nagel. And if you can't do any of that and just want to watch this the video when you're damn good and ready, I get it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the notifications. It'll let you know when the produced video is up there for your consuming needs. That's it, right? We're done?
That's all.
All right. So until the next time, everybody,
be excellent to each other.
And whoa, there we go. And we'll be seeing you.
It's Erik Nagel.
Nagel?
Who are you? What do you want?
We know you created the super soldier serum.
I was brought into Hydra's Winter Soldier program to pick up their work after the 5 failed test subjects in Siberia. I was a god. I did what no other scientist was able to do.
Alas, we're out of time.
Follow It's Erik Nagel on social media platforms. For ways to watch and listen to the show, or join us for the live shows, head over to itseriknagel.com. Yo, and remember to tell 2 friends so they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends, they can tell 2 friends. You get the idea.
Keep it real, homies.